Oh, wow. Wow. Well, what's that old expression? Business pick just about picked up. What the fuck just happened? Oh my god. Oh my god. I did not expect to come home. You know, DeQuell Jones, Tim Settle. Okay, McKissick backed out. Free agency's been going on for what? 3 hours now? About 3 hours. I'm like, all right, they're gonna be nice and easy. People were disappointed about Chandler Jones, this and that. And then what the fuck was that? Yeah, Shady who what like I was like, what the fuck? I was like, the first thing I did, I'm like, this is a fake account. Schefter, this is a fake Schefter account. Oh, what's up, Los? It's been a while, man. It, nope, it is. And then the OJ Howard news right after that. And I don't know about you guys. I'm just as excited about that. And I'll explain. It's just, I'm sorry if I'm at a loss for words because it's one of those things you have so much to say. But I mean, I just don't know where to begin. Like, I just don't know what to start, where to say. It was just happened so fast, and I'm still processing it. Like a lot of you guys, I am. That's a big move. That's a big move. A lot of money up front, 45 guaranteed at signing. Um, OJ Howard, thinking about how Allen in his breakout year 2000 was targeting before Dawson Knox came into his own. He was targeting Lee Smith and had the game-winning Tyler Croft catch against the Rams. He was targeting him a lot down in the red zone, and you see a guy that's kind of been caught in a bit of a rough spot with that size, still that upside, still young, athletic. I mean, wow, what a day. What a day. They clearly wanted something different on the defensive line. Um, Harrison Phillips leaves to the Vikings, unfortunate. But they clearly wanted something different. It's not like they couldn't re-sign him. They just clearly wanted a different flavor. This pretty much spells the end of Addison Hughes. Their days come and gone, and it's time for the young guys. And this guy, what's up, Doug? Woo! It's been a while. They're great, Tom. Ah, we're all doing even better right now. Oh man, that was a wild move, a wild day. I just don't know what to say. I there's so much I want to say. That just they just came like that, and I'm you can't even. We could talk about everything. We could talk about everything that's going on in the league. We could talk. We're going to talk a lot about the Bills. It's clearly a move that is a bit of a changing of the guard on the defensive line. Um, you know how they are with their players, particularly older players. You're going to see your veteran rest days. You're going to see your managed reps. You're going to see all of that. It's clearly a move that they're going to massage, and they're not going to try to run him into the ground. I posted his postseason numbers, which were pretty good. He's got 11 games, 2 Super Bowls, 10 and a half sacks, 38 solo tackles. I was a little impressed by that. 12 tackles for loss, 18 QB hits, 1 INT, 3 forced fumbles. One of those, obviously, remember on Cam. Well, 2 of those were on Cam Newton, and 1 fumble recovery, 3 passes defense. That's an 11. That's an 11 playoff games. 2 of them being Super Bowls, and he won an MVP. So that's wild, and you gotta hope that and their hope and our hope is one of the young guys now. One of those young guys just now has to pop. Whether it's Basham, Ruseo, Epinesa, one of those young guys if they pop along with Miller, Oliver, Phil. I mean, I haven't seen it announced, but it looks like Jordan Phillips is coming back. But I just go back to that. It's crazy how everything circles around, right? You go back to that 2011 draft where the Bills, it seemed like for the first half of the year, were on a collision course with that first overall pick. Cam Newton was the prize. And then Fitz gets hot, goes 4-4 to end the year. Bills get the third overall pick, end up with arguably one of the most disappointing re-signs ever in Bills history, Marcell Dareus. Started off good. Once he got that money, he was done. But taken ahead of them were Cam Newton by Carolina, where Brandon Beane was. McDermott hadn't gotten to yet, and then Von Miller, right sandwiched in between those to Denver. And then Von Miller winning that Super Bowl MVP against Carolina, against Beane, against McDermott. Now they all reconvene in Buffalo. That is just wow. Wow. I really hope that's true, Doug. I'm still very shocked. A lot of people were really down. You saw Bill's Twitter was just apoplectic. They whether it was Chandler Jones, whether it was not getting Ogba, who resigned in Miami, those organizations going in a different direction. The Bills want to stay at the forefront. They have the quarterback. That's no problem. And just to have a closer like this on defense now, where it's going to be late in games, you're going to need a play, a forced fumble, a pressure that results in a turnover, an incomplete pass in a big spot. I mean, this guy is clearly, if it all just comes together, it really could be nice. But I'm just so excited right now to see how this all just tessellates together, because it's going to be Bills just put up. It's Von Miller, so he's already on Bills official Instagram, just saying he's coming. Now, I mean, obviously it's unfortunate. Bills did a lot of their own business in-house. McKenzie, Siran Neal, reworked a few contracts. Let go of John Feliciano, let go of Daryl Williams, brought in Roger Saffold, he gets lost in the shuffle now, but that's where I tend to think they're going to go now with their first round pick. I think they're going to go on to, I don't want to say that, but I feel like that's where it's going to happen. I think the offensive side of the ball is the way to go. And we're so far away, man. Yeah, Eric, we remember the days nobody wanted to play in Buffalo. Nobody wanted to come to Buffalo. Nobody no. That was always bullshit. That was always a myth. Get a good organization, upgrade your facilities, get shit popping, have a franchise quarterback, which we do, and you build it, they will come. I could still see offensive line, Doug. I'm not ruling that out whatsoever. I mean, you look at what Beane does when he wants to go. He drafts linemen, he signs linemen, defensive and offensive. Obviously, the big Diggs trade, but then you could find receivers throughout the draft. You look at some of the best wide receivers in this draft, namely two on our team. Gabriel Davis, 4th round. Diggs, 5th round. Devontae Adams, 2nd round. Tyreek Hill, 5th round. I know there was character, but still. DK Metcalf, 2nd round. Terry McLaurin, 3rd round. Pittman, 2nd round. You not to say the first round you're not going to find your Justin Jeffersons, and you will, but and DeAndre Hopkins, but he was in the bottom half of the first round, so you can find receivers. I definitely see a corner coming in at some point. Obviously, I think they're probably going to see two, not just a rookie. I think we'll see it's just going to be interesting to see what does this such early days. I mean, this is the first official day of free agency, and this is what's already happened. But it's clear that they wanted something different on the defensive line. They didn't want to just roll with the same crew like they had done last year, and that includes the offensive line too. I'm not gonna not forget about that. I don't think that we're just gonna see a Roger Saffold tender Ryan Bates and away we go. No, I think we're gonna see something else. I think we're gonna see, we're gonna see something else. That this is gonna be, something rather interesting this offseason. I don't think we're near done. I don't know if you go guard at that point, Doug. I don't think you go guard. What's up, Midnight? How you doing, bro? Whew. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I think we're all past that, Tom. I just think it was just such a, I think we're all past that right now. I think if you just let that eat you alive, you're just never going to get past it. And I just hope that this is just a step forward now. Just one piece closer, and we're right there. We're right there. I mean, because this is what he does. He just basically takes over. He comes in and fills the spots of Hughes, fills the spots of Addison, and now it's on Boogie, it's on Ruseo, it's on Epinesa to just turn it on. They have all these other guys going to draw attention. There's no excuses for them now. We've seen the Bills be patient with young players, so I don't think they'll move off of those guys at all. But man, what a day! What a day! Adding what they've added, retaining what they've retained. You cannot not say that they're a better team today than they were on Sunday or on, this time last week. How about that? You cannot not say that they're not a better team now. I'm not worried about that yet, John. Just we have a wide receiver 1, and we got a bunch of good players around him. We saw what Josh Allen did in New England with just Diggs, McKenzie, Dawson Knox. He had, Kumaro, and just, with no Beasley, no Davis, just got to make it work. That's possible. I mean, I could see us trading back. I don't see us trading it for a player, but I could see us trading back. But, if you're right there and you like a guy, whether it's an offensive lineman, wide receiver, or corner, I think you take that. I think you take that and run with it, whichever one it is. I tend to think it's going to be just the way the numbers add up. It's got to be an offensive player. But wow, Von Miller, what a game changer. Late game impact, big game impact. Somebody they're not going to run into the ground. They've done incredibly well. Their track record of keeping their guys healthy, it speaks for itself. Their willingness to give guys, the time that they need to heal, to make sure they're ready to play, to keep them in game. It's been pretty impressive if you look at the rest of the league, in terms of their injury prevention. I don't know if a trade up is possible, maybe in the mid rounds, but in the first round, that might be a little too rich. Maybe they use that to trade up. But it's been a crazy day. A lot of Bills fans early on I saw were dejected and deflated. There wasn't a lot of action. There was just the previous things that we had seen, nothing like of a big magnitude. And then all of a sudden, it just jumped off the page. Just trying to read some stuff right now, see what's going on. Von Miller, obviously, number 40. That's going to be a different type of vision. Apparently, Jordan Phillips is returning to the Bills. This is Ryan Talbot of New York Upstate saying that that's going to happen. So you have Jordan Phillips, Jones, Settle. There's all these new names on the defensive line. Again, You know, you're replacing Butler, you're replacing Phillips, you're replacing I already said Harrison Phillips. Vernon Butler. You're just replacing all these guys, and basically it's Oliver and those three. It's just a whole new crew in there now. And I always look back at the season, what games impacted them the most? What games impacted them the most? I see the Tennessee game, the 70-something yard touchdown run. I see that, them not being able to control the line of scrimmage. Both sides of the ball, getting blown up on that 4th and short, losing the game that way. The Indy game, just getting battered like that defensively, completely embarrassment. Even on the offensive side, weren't really able to control the line of scrimmage. And then that Jaguar game was obviously a real stain. And you win the Tennessee game, we're hosting that KC game in Buffalo instead of going to Arrowhead. So that's the one, man. That's the one, being able to, not allow that to happen again. Those are the 3 games, and there were all losses that impacted the Bills brass, their management, the shot callers the most, when that's Bean and McDermott. So being able to rectify those things and not have us have to sit here and watch that again. You can even argue the first half of the Tampa Bay game, was unconscionable. Couldn't even put a good drive together in that half. And then they come out in the second half and they're a different team, and pretty much were a different team from that point on the rest of the year. So, yeah, what a day, man. What a Star. You still have Star in there. That's wild. Thank you, Boot Camp. I was trying to remember another name. Yeah, Tom, maybe a big, I wouldn't mind a big running back at some point. McKissick backing out kind of irritated a lot of people, but I did post. I remember Anthony Barr a few years ago with the Jets. He said he just slept on it, woke up and said, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. And he stayed with Minnesota. Remember, a lot of the Jet fans around here were deflated. I can understand it. So you can never, count the chickens before they hatch. So we're going to see what else is going to come, but they're far from done. Far from done. Wow. That's arguably one of the biggest signings, free agent signings, in terms of name, position. It's pretty wild. I'm just still here looking, trying to see, if anything else has popped off. Wow. OJ and just OJ Howard, just what a, Albert Breer report. This is Albert Breer. The Bills are signed. This is an hour ago. Von Miller to multi-year deal. Source confirms. I'm told Miller's camp conveyed their interest in Buffalo early on, and a big part of it was Miller wanting to go play with Josh Allen. That's from Albert Breer. So, that's nice, man. That's the caveat. That's that side effect of having a franchise quarterback, is people want to come, they want to slice. And you saw what San Diego did with Khalil Mack. You saw what the Raiders did with Chandler Jones. You saw what the Colts did with Ndakwe. Miami retained Ogunjobi. I'm not Ogunjobi. Ogba. They have that one kid they have is a real up and comer. Phillips. He's going to be a really good player. Jalen Phillips. So it's game on now. I mean, I hope Mac Jones is running wind sprints. I hope Tua's running wind sprints. I hope Zach Wilson's running wind sprints, because they're going to be running. This defensive line is just stacked. They're just going to roll bodies through right and left. That's why I tend to think that. What a nice deal that is, Doug. That is such a nice deal. Such a nice deal. And that guy could, easily score 7 bone touchdowns, pick us up a few cheap, several cheap first downs, and just, getting guys back to the Bills, and just, they seem to like to get the guys into shape too. They don't let the guys linger. They're definitely good at that. Saffold was talking about their strength and conditioning people. He's a workout warrior. He said, at this point in his career, he's made his money. It's not about that. It's about winning a Super Bowl and being in a place where he feels like he could win one. And here we are. Not right now, Los. I don't see anything worthwhile. I tend to think they want a better athlete, a more young, live body there. I mean, bless Levi Wallace. The guy was a consummate whipping boy for all Bills fans. Not all. He had a lot of defenders too, and he had a lot of people that criticized him. But be that as it may, the guy played very, very well second half of the year. He had to take over for Trey. He had to come into that number one cornerback spot. So I'm just hoping that I trust them in that position. I really do. I trust them. I believe that they'll make the right moves when it comes to that. That's the first area McDermott hit on when he came to Buffalo. Totally reworked that secondary, releasing guys like Roby and the whole crew back there. They rolled into 17 with an entire new secondary and were very, very good. With EJ Gaines, Leonard Johnson, Poyer, Hyde, Trey, Sharice Wright, I believe, was part of that group. They did a very, very good job. So I trust them. How many he was really limited there, man. I know Brait took a lot of snaps. I know the way Arians likes a blocking tight end and Howard's more of a receiver. So once Gronk got there, it was like Gronk was the guy and Howard was kind of there, either inactive or he would play sparingly. So yeah, I remember Howard. He did the Bills dirty in his rookie year. Actually, in 17, he won. They didn't win in Buffalo, but I think he scored a touchdown in Buffalo in 2017. I think it was like week 6 or something like that. I'd have to go back and look. It was week 7. Bills won 30 to. Bills won the game 30-27. Let me see. I know. Yep. OJ Howard scored 7-yard pass from he scored 2 touchdowns that game. OJ Howard. So, yeah, I knew he was a point of contention going into the game. People felt like he was 6 catches, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, long of 33. He was their leading receiver that day. So now, he's coming back to the Bills. All right, bro. Have a good one, man. Thank you, bro. See you soon, man. Yeah, I believe it, Doug, because it was how many games at the end of the year was it? Knox was active, the only tight end active on the roster. They would bring in Reggie Gilliam a little bit, but then they were using Tommy Doyle as the extra blocker. Yeah, again, John, if they're making those moves, it's because they wanted to make them. If they're not paying Levi, if they're not paying Harrison, but they're paying Vaughn this, then it's clear and obvious that they wanted to go in a different direction. With several new players. $52 million in the first 3 years, 45 guaranteed at signing. So he got a little bit more. He got a little bit more than Chandler Jones did. So that's a crazy deal. Crazy deal. A lot of front-loaded money, we'll see where but right now it's really exciting. It's a really exciting move. Yeah, 3 years, 54 million. That's probably what it really is, Doug. I don't think it's we always see these crazy numbers. Good for him, good for Harrison Phillips, just he had, but if you look at it, the reality of it, I think the Bills would have been hard pressed to pay him that after just one good half of a year. I mean, he was injured that 1 year. He was inactive a lot of games last year, inactive some games this year. Wasn't good for the first half of the year. Then all of a sudden everything clicked and he was great. He was really, really good. So if he was able to go get the money he could, but the Bills weren't giving it to him, you know what? Hats off to him, man. Do you? But the team got to move on. And yeah, he had MCL, ACL histories. I think he's torn both ACLs actually. So that's a tough thing for a big guy. But again, I give him credit. Like he did what he had to do when he came back and played his ass off. Him and Oliver pretty much took over Starr's position, and now I have a clear head about me. I could think about the defensive line rotation a little bit more. I should have wrote it down, but you're kind of like losing your shit right now, trying to think about like everything that just happened. It's crazy. I think I'm frozen, but I'm not sure. But if I am, fuck it. So wow, what a day. What a day. I'm trying to see if anything else has popped off yet. I know the big one everybody's waiting for is how's the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes going to shake out. That's a little crazy. I mean, I don't even know what to think about that. That's just wild to me. So looking at it right now, it's Basham, Epinesa, Jones, Starr, Oliver, Phillips, Ruseo, Miller. I mean, poof. That's crazy. That's a crazy rotation. And settle. And then settle. Just gotten a lot bigger. I think we got a lot more physical. And when it comes to, you look at Harrison, I think we got a little bit bigger, a little bit more athletic, man. So that's a good thing. I just see them watching that Indy game on a loop, watching that Jaguars game on a loop. Again, sans the KC game, which is obviously the most impactful game of the year. They just were probably, that shit just probably ached at them, poked at them, and they were just like, that we're not going to have that shit happen again. Man, they're trading guys. They're just trading players. They don't know if they're going to keep players. They have 3 offensive linemen. I think they traded Shaq Mason. Again, we can talk about anything, guys. We don't got to stick to the Bills. They don't know if they're going to keep Trent Brown. So they're in a big. Baker, man. Yeah, he's that's a tough spot because I know Mortensen came out and said what he said. He had some reports about the Browns wanting an adult at the quarterback position, and I'm like, okay, I can respect that. You want a different player, cool, right? But my thing is, don't make overtures to Deshaun Watson having what he has on his plate, and then have a media mouthpiece come out and say you want a fucking adult, because adults don't go trolling on Insta girls DMs and doing, being accused of what he's been accused of 20 plus times. It's just, come on. You want a Jimmy Garoppolo, then you want to use that adult stuff, fine. Even him, you're going out in public with a porn star and everybody's going to see it and say what they're going to say. Like, it is what it is, man. Yeah. JC Jackson went to and I was never in that camp of like, wow, he's a shutdown corner, good player, always around the ball, instinctual, but not somebody I feared the Bills throwing at, like, oh man, he's gonna do damage here. I felt like Diggs was always a little bit too much for him. Yeah, I mean, and he played hurt. He played hurt. I mean, he's done himself no favors. Very brash. Very. But it really does put to bed. It just further puts to bed that we got the guy in 18. We Brandon Beane nailed it. Brandon Beane stepped up to the plate. Bases were loaded. It was a 3-2 count, and game was on the line. He had the pitcher 20 pitches deep, and he hung a slider and he put it in left center field and knocked it out of the park, man. What a fucking what a good fucking what a great pick. What a great pick. So I mean, what more can you say? Like that was wow. You could have done so many different things, but he did the right thing. And today is just further proof of what they've built, what they're trying to achieve. We all know what they're trying to achieve. Dolphins are signing Raheem Mostert to a 1-year, $3.1 million deal. That makes sense. He's going back to a guy he's familiar with. I wouldn't be shocked. Trying to read some of the stuff here. Trying to see if there's anything new available, but it seems like the Dolphins wanted to rework their backfield. They want to try to play more ball control style, that 49ers style, that crazy style run game. So I mean, it only makes sense. The rest of the teams in the division now are going to try to do what we tried to do, they tried to do for so long to Tom Brady and the Patriots, is play keep away. They're going to try to play keep away, and the Bills, once they get the ball with their style, it's going to be like we're going to go for it on fourth down, depending on what side of the field we're on, what the distance is, what the score effect looks like. We're going to try to keep our punter on the sideline as much as possible. So that's pretty much what the rest of the division knows it's up against now. And that's, it's nice to be the team with the hammer, and it's just not any hammer. It's a sledgehammer, and it's, it can do a multitude of things. So he can kill you, with his arm, kill you with his legs, kill you with his mind, with his competitive nature. And, that's why I see that 25th pick. I mean, ultimately, they'll probably they don't give a shit what other people think. They've proven that they're just going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be like, it's what's best for us. That no apologies mentality. What's up, Matt? How you doing, man? Yeah, it's his. He don't got no more lunch, Jake. That shit. He ate that 2 seasons ago in an empty Gillette Stadium, which was unfortunate. Man, that's crazy. So you just typing that in, Matt, and just thinking about, wow, because you can envision it. You can envision a fourth quarter game. You can envision, Oliver, him, Ruseo, just one of the other ends, and whichever one just eventually, because it was Ruseo, the guy they were really leaning on, Settle, Star, just, in the mix there, just going for it. Just pushing the pocket, blowing on shit up, making quarterbacks uncomfortable. I mean, you look at what they did to Zach Wilson last game of the year. What was it? 9 sacks, 10 sacks, 11 sacks, and now they got this crew to contend with. They signed one offensive lineman, Laken Tomlinson. I mean, they got to do a hell of a lot more than that. They better hope that Mekhi Becton comes back and he's a Pro Bowler, because that's a hell of a handful to deal with, man. Wow. That is wild. That is just wild. You look at what this team is now. It's a true, they have a true game, a bona fide 100 caliber, a guy who can wreck a game. And thinking about that Super Bowl where he was clearly the best player on the field, where it was Von Miller just chasing Cam Newton down all over the place, the forced fumble, the one near the end zone, the one where Cam backs off of it, and everybody, criticizes him for standing there and watching it. It's just insane, man. we got the president of DNU to teach our yeah, man. Like that's that's another thing too. They love that you knew they were going to sign a veteran end. They weren't going to roll in there with just a young cat. So it was just like, okay, what veteran end is going to come? They were trying supposedly Ogba, supposedly Chandler Jones. There was one other guy. His name escapes me right now, but then it turns out it was, Von Miller was like, oh, now once Randy Gregory left the Cowboys scorned, everybody thought, the DeSoto, Texas, he's going to go back home, play for the Star, play in the Star, just try to get his home state team a chip. But nah, he's coming to Buffalo, and that's just insane, man. Yeah, Khalil Mack, obviously, with the UB ties. That's the one I was thinking of, Doug. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, man. That's why it's good to have a live room. I don't know if he does, Steve, because it's gonna turn into a numbers game. It's gonna turn into a numbers game. What do they keep, like 9 linemen up on game day? You're gonna have Miller. That's a lock. Oliver's a lock. Jones a lock. Settle a lock. Ruseo, Epinesa, Basham, Jordan Phillips again, coming back for seconds. I mean, they're going to add another body or two. If I'm missing somebody, let me know, but that's a pretty solid 9-10 dudes that you're going to roll through there, and that's going to be a big issue. And creating more turnovers, forcing quarterbacks into bad throws, having cornerbacks be able to jump on routes a little bit, be a little bit more opportunistic, knowing quarterbacks got to get rid of the ball. They're going to have an accelerated clock. So hopefully that even plays into it too. And now I'm honestly just focusing, what are they going to do on the offensive side of the ball? Now that they lost out on McKissick, that kind of pisses Bean off. That if they went for him, yeah, I mean, he's a possibility in a reserve role. I just look at reps. They might want to add a young player there, another young player. But if they do add a Matt, I wouldn't be shocked. At a veteran minimum deal, I wouldn't be shocked. Let's just put it this way. Nothing should shock me. Nothing should shock any of us at this point. Wow. What a signing. Yeah, McKinnon, I believe didn't he resign with somebody? Doug, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he resign? I have a feeling he resigned. Oh, Bill's already put up, their edit of Von Miller wearing number 40 in a Bills uniform. So that's as official could be. They're already flying the flag high that they got the guy. So, it's definitely the real deal. That's the first thing I did, though, was to see that the tweet was real. There was no bullshit. Matt, that is wow. I'm still wrapping my head around this. OJ Howard. That's crazy in and of itself. I'm thinking that this offense is going to have a different flavor to it. It's going to have a little bit of a different flavor to it. It's going to be one that is going to be a little bit more, a little bit more versatile, have a little bit more, formation diversity to it. Not as, wide receiver. They'll still have, obviously, they'll be very wide receiver centric, but they're going to have a lot more, you're going to see a lot more, 2 tight ends. You're going to see a lot more, 2 wide receivers, one of the tight ends detached, maybe one of them in line, just having those big bodies out there to block downfield, as opposed to, a guy like Beasley or a guy like McKenzie. You get those big guys out in space blocking downfield for running backs. That's going to create a lot more running lanes, a lot more, yards after you get into the second level. Jake writes, I believe the big reason why they made this move is because Oliver progressed so much last year. next year will be his breakout, and Vaughn will be. Yeah, I mean, I heard Bean talk at the combine, and he was saying, don't be shocked if he adds people on the line. Don't ever be shocked if I add people on the line. And and another thing that also takes more pressure off of Knox to even take that next step, because what happens, a player takes a jump like Knox, where Knox took a jump. We're talking about 50 catches. We're talking about 11 total touchdowns, just stopping, the crazy drops, just making crazy, making the routine catches, maybe adding some more, yak yards to it, and everybody expects a 2.0 to that. Right now, he's got another guy that's going to draw attention. It's just going to make it all the more harder for teams to defend. So, yeah, I mean, there's another, 49 catches, 50 in the playoff. He's just huge breakout year for him. Huge breakout year. And this is just going to make it easier for him to just build on that now. Patterson would be a good backup. I'm not familiar with Patterson. Bills boot camp. You'll have to refresh me. Is it running back? I don't know a quarterback named Patterson. And I think maybe in the draft if you're talking about that, but I don't think they're gonna have a rookie backing up Josh Allen. I don't see that happening. I'm just trying to peruse Twitter, see if there's anything else that happened. And I think about the year before last too. Like there was Addison chasing down Von Miller maybe makes that sack, and there's never the Hail Murray instance. You know what I mean? There's situations in some of the games that we had, where you just needed a closing finisher back there just to get home on the quarterback, and maybe Vaughn has the that little bit of prescription to the afflictions. Just some guys have a knack for it, and maybe he can impart some of that wisdom to the younger guys. Like here, this is how you finish. This is how you close. This is how you seal the deal. This is where you make your money. You don't make your money pressuring the quarterback. You make your money sacking the quarterback. So that's what I hope that can. Oh, he's a free agent. I was hoping they get a younger player there, man. Just a younger guy could catch the football. Oh, Cordarrelle Patterson. Okay. Yeah, I want young legs, man. I want young legs, affordable legs. I want guys that can, got some juice, that are, have some pep in their step and want to go. Like having older guys that can, they make their money. It's hard. It's hard sometimes. It's like, this guy made his money. Did he win? Did he not win? Is he chasing another ring? Is he just here for a paycheck? Because if you're not playing in meaningful games late and you're an older player, you're going to shut it down. So for me, like I like having those young dudes come up in the system through the pipeline. The standard is super, super high. That's what they're used to. You look at Oliver, just going to the playoffs. I remember him sitting at the press conference with Jerry Hughes after the New England game, and he's talking about how I'm just used to the playoffs. I've just been to the playoffs every year since I've been here. It's my third year. Hughes was there 4 years prior to 17, hadn't been to the playoffs. So, it's I saw him out there. He should have been the Super Bowl MVP actually, but that they were going to give it to Mahomes no matter what. I'm trying to find my video so I could send it to somebody, but it's hard to find. They never ever have. They never make it easy on the. Oh, there it is. There it is. But I just want a younger guy, Doug, younger guy there, just to have some fresh legs, give us some juice, just like at the receiver room, a guy that could come in the same way Gabe Davis came in. Gabe Davis popped off. Nobody expected it. It's a guy like George Pickens down in Georgia, Austin, Calvin Austin III from Memphis, somebody like that. That's what I'm looking for. You're gonna have to infuse youth here at some point. It's gonna be, it can't be all older guys. Yeah, Marquez Stevenson, Lowe's puts it out. He's another guy, you know, just don't sleep on him either. You know, don't sleep on him either. And then we're just gonna you think, corner. I could see offensive line, I could see wide receiver, I could see corner. It's definitely in that. It's in there right now, and it's been narrowed down. Whether it's corner, you know, and you could never ever discount Bean doing something, you know, like doing something different. You know, making some, you know, trade of some sort, whether it's moving a guy off our roster for something, or you know, swapping something. You just never can discount that, because look at the amount of trades that's happened since last week. You know, Russell Wilson, the list go. There was a lot of trades last week. You know, just more than I could remember ever. It looked like baseball in a lot of ways, where football like kind of figured out how to work the trade market, as opposed to like, well, the trades never really come to fruition in football, but they really, really very much did. So hopefully that's a sign for things to come. You know, I'm just trying to share this video. Sorry guys, not to not pay attention, but yeah, so let's see. So Miami's loading up on running backs. They signed a couple of offensive linemen. You know that they're going to try to play keep away, try to play ball control. I would too. 100%, Eric. Me and Jake had the same conversation in a couple of days ago, and it's just I don't think you can pay him what he could command, because it's just we haven't seen the play. And I know he's young, but we just haven't seen that level of play where it's going to be like, I need to see impact. Like today, it's an impact signing. That's an impact signing, and we needed impact signings. You know, it's nice to have piecemeal, but to get an impact signing, if that's what moves the needle. But eventually, they're going to have to make a critical decision. You know, Bills boot camp. They're going to have to make a critical decision, and it's going to, you know, it's going to sting a little. It's going to be like, oh, that's going to suck, but you got to, you know, it's going to happen. Who do I like remain the cornerbacks left? Not many. I mean, I think it's going to be a young guy, and then we're just kind of have to wait and see who gets cut, who shakes loose. Because you know people are going to get released. You know somebody's going to come available that we don't expect. I mean, look what Tennessee has done. They've released, you know, Julio Jones. They've released Saffold, who's now, you know, a Buffalo Bill. There's speculation that they might release Luan because he's due a lot of money, and they're going to have to rebuild their offensive line on the fly. Because they have to get money ready to pay Jeffrey Simmons, because he's going to command a lot of money. They just got finished paying Howard Landry a lot of money. They released Janoris Jenkins. So that's a big move that they're going to have to do. Not a fan of Butler too much, boot camp. I like him, Los. I like him a lot. He's really, really underrated. Him and Pickens are kind of my favorites. I don't think they'll last to 53, where the Bills pick in the second round, but I'm kind of leaning towards like a lineman or a corner or wide receiver at 25. Whatever they deem as the best guy, I am going to default to them. I'm like, you guys have done this rebuild. You've given us everything we've asked for, sans the fucking trophy. I mean, so I'm just going to back up and be like, all right, you would have never taken the quarterback you took if the decision had been left up to me. So I recuse myself. But he's from South Dakota State. I like him a lot. He gives us a different flavor to a wide receiver. We don't really have a body type like him, or somebody that's built like him that can offer that. Same with Perkins too. I know Watson's a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't know. Levi was good, man. Levi again, he was a whipping boy. I mean, he didn't have the athleticism, played the game between his ears, but very cerebral player, tough as shit. Really, really, really gonna miss him. Really, really gonna miss him because, but he got to go out there and get his money. He's earned it. He's earned the opportunity. Came to the Bills as an undrafted free agent, settled it down after the whole Vontae Davis, Phillip Gaines situation. So a lot of credit given to him. Hats off to him. Sorry guys, I'm still listening, just still scrolling through Twitter, just trying to see what's out there, if anything. But thank you for popping in on a Wednesday. I think it's Thursday for some reason. I thought it was Thursday all day. It's not. It's Wednesday. It was a very, very much an improv thing, but I had to be done for the sake of humanity because I had planned on coming on earlier today because I was off, and then some things popped up. So I'm like, okay, I'll push it forward. And then something popped up for tomorrow. So there's no way I could push it forward for tomorrow. So I was like, I'll come on tonight, but that's before everything happened. And then everything happened. I was just like, I got to pop on. I mean, there's no way I can't. There's no way I can't. I just think he's too grabby, Eric. He's not disciplined enough. He doesn't like to tackle either. And they like their corners to tackle. And you see where they go with their corners. They kind of get guys, and you're kind of like that guy. Sands, there was 2 disasters they've got at corner. Two disasters. There was obviously Phillip Gaines, who they released game Josh got hurt in his rookie year. Hit Clowney's helmet. Freak weird thing, compressed the nerve. And then Vontae Davis retiring at the half. Like that. Outside of that, they go small school. They go, they had Trey. Kevin Johnson, kind of a reclamation project, kind of injury-wise, but he was healthy, played well for them. Levi's, undrafted free agent, had his ups and downs, but still held it down. Teron Johnson, slot corner. I know Neal plays corner for them in spots, big nickel for them in spots, kind of like third safety for them in spots. So it just, wherever they go with the secondary, I'm going to trust it because they built it so well. And I know they had that one, against arguably the best quarterback in the league, Mahomes, against the best track athlete to ever play the game in Tyreek Hill. Okay, they had a real bad moment, but they allowed so few touchdowns in a passing league, under 3,000 yards passing for 17-game weeks. That's insane. That's just insane. Joshua Williams, small school guy, Los. Elam from Florida. Gordon from Washington. McCrary from Auburn. Junior Gregory, small, it's fucking like D3 school. I think we're going to see a rookie. We're going to see a veteran. We'll see an undrafted free agent that we're not going to see. It's not going to be a one-stop shop, man. I'm around, Doug. You catch me on Instagram. Catch me on the Twitter. I know you don't really fuck with that too much, but I'm around. But today was a day I had to jump on. I look like shit, obviously. Jesus Christ. But nobody's here to look at me, thank God. Nothing to look at much anyway, so there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, man. Yeah, that's his baby. Like, I just, whatever he does, like, I'm going to kind of like the same thing with the offense, the line, like how much Bean cares about those lines, having what happened to, Josh in his rookie year, even at some points last year with all the injuries and shuffling and, the defensive line getting gashed in the run game for a few years in a row. They had spurts where they got hit, not so much the Patriot game because that was just crazy weather. It was one big run, and then it was just the repetition of it. It's like if I hand off the ball pretty much 50 times in a game, the odds are NFL talent, you're going to rip one for a good chunk of yards, in which they did. Jamison Williams, man, that hopefully that kid is healthy, but when did he tore his ACL in January? If he doesn't tear his ACL, there's no way the Bills are going to get a shot at him. But then again, I look at a situation like Jeffrey Simmons, big guy, tore his ACL. Titans still drafted him. So I don't think that's keeping Williams out of the first round. My guy is Burks, though, man. My guy is Burks. I mean, Burks at wide receiver to me is just I just if they get a shot to take that kid and they pull it, that's gonna that is a legit like issue for a lot of defenses. Like, have a fucking fun week trying to game plan for that offense. Wow. I appreciate that, Los. Thank you, man, so much. That's why I love, the Bills, being a part of the Bills fans, and people like talk shit about Bills fans, whatever. But you know what? I live in an area where there's 2 NFL teams, and I'll tell you, there's still nobody like Bills fans. There's nobody like Bills fans. There's nobody as cool as Bills fans, welcoming as Bills fans, passionate as Bills fans, sit around through the thick, through the thin, through the ups, the downs, where you might lose your team, our team, to where nobody really gives a shit about us, pats us on the head, gives us credit for just the simplest things, placates us, patronizes us. And then, now that they finally have arrived as a team and an organization, people really have to stand up and recognize, this shit is for real. It's not fake anymore. It's not a little engine that could. It's not an also rant. It's not this Ryan Fitzpatrick led or Tyrod Taylor win. Oh, they can win with this guy. No, this is a fucking powerhouse, and it's to be reckoned with. I mean, Bill Belichick learned that out firsthand twice last year in very humbling fashion. And I think KC almost got it done to them twice. They got it done to them once, almost done to them twice. So they're coming. What's up, Al? How you doing, man? It's pretty crazy, man. We've sat in here. I mean, I think it's a 3-year deal. Looking at it, I don't look at it in totality, but I think it's a 3-year deal. Good price. The way they rotate dudes, the way they like to keep dudes healthy, load management, whatever you want to call it. Veteran days off during the week. So we're going to see a lot of that. Steve, I think so. I think we'll see those measurables, height, weight, speed. We're going to see those. We're going to see a more dynamic. I just think that's what they wanted. I'm not saying what I wanted. I always want that. Are you kidding me? What I think they wanted. We need to finally go up a notch or two here at corner. We like Levi. We love Levi. We could ride with Levi, but we want something different there. Different animal. Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it's time. I think it's time. Patriots fans, and dude, they've been rude. They've been rude. They've been in denial all offseason. I still see some of their shenanigans, and I'm just like, yo, you guys, how does it feel just being another team now? How does it feel just being another team in the league? You're just another team in the league. You ain't special. You ain't a destination no more. Nobody's taking less to come to you. You just are who you are, and that's what you're going to be for a really long time, man. And you got a guy like Von Miller who's won it. He's won the title. He's been the dude. He's held it. He's been the Super Bowl MVP, and he did a lot of game wrecking in that. Him right next to Aaron Donald. Just going after guys. He could have went back, played in LA, played with the Super Bowl defending champions. Instead, he chose to come to Buffalo and, doesn't go back to Denver, doesn't go to Dallas. I mean, there's a team like Dallas. Like, wow. Oh, look who it is. It's a Patriot fan. How do you like not like making a team punt? Like, what is it like to watch a team for 2 straight games? Nobody kick them out. How does it feel to watch a team for 2 straight games just not punt and just score on you just over and over and over again? The Bills, like, how does that feel? Now you're the Bills bitch. How does it feel? Like Josh Allen just dick smacking you all up and down the field in your building too. You get a bird's eye view of that. Were you in Gillette for that? I loved sitting here watching it. To know that your quarterback just not good enough. He could throw his little 5-yard check downs. You trade another offensive lineman yet? Who's gonna protect that statue you got back there? You know, just that wafer you got back there that just stands still. Dink and dunk, dink and dunk. You still play that Hyde interception back on a loop again? Brandon Bolden dropping that pass. Oh, congratulations, beating up an injured defense. Oh, you lost to the 20. That was Patrick Mahomes, arguably the next best quarterback in the league. They ain't your Super Bowl trophies. You just a crumb snatcher, dude. You couldn't even name the head coach before Belichick. We all know your type. You just a crumb snatcher who came along for the ride, don't know shit about football, don't know shit about the team. You don't even remember Bledsoe. You don't even remember that he played in the AFC Championship game, threw a touchdown pass to David Patton to get you into the fucking Super Bowl. Not you, them into the Super Bowl. But yeah, you just Googled it. That's why. Don't even know the stadium, O'Sullivan Stadium, another shithole. But then you've cheated your way through everything. That's another thing too. A bunch of cheating ass, pansy ass, pussy ass fans who are crumb snatchers. Now you're just a regular team. That's nobody. Nobody. You got an old coach. You've got an average quarterback who's young, and you got a bunch of possession receivers that you paid for that suck. So what you talking about? What you talking about? Like, you come in someplace to talk shit. Oh, we gashed the Chiefs' defense. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Thought that was you. He did see characters like him, like you, so-called. I'm looking forward to watching the Bills choke. Well, dude, the only thing that's going to get choked on is Josh Allen's dick down your throat. That's the only thing that's going to get choked on. You get it twice a year. You get bent over, you get turned out, you get your shit pushed in, and you get sent on down the road. That's what's happening to you now. I know it sucks. It hurts, right? It hurts. You keep telling yourself those lies. Make you feel better. Anything to make yourself feel better. You do that. It's called copium. It's a hell of a drug. This is how you're going to cope. It's okay. We're here to talk to you. This is our session we're having right now. We're having a little oh, look, such a fan of the Bills. He's a closet honk for the Bills. He even knows the documentary Four Falls of Buffalo. It's fucking hilarious. You're such a fan. You're such a fanboy, a closet fanboy, that you come into this room to pop lip, and you know so much about the Bills. Isn't this cute? It's cute. It's cute what you're doing right now. But we're here to talk to you. See how supportive we are? We haven't kicked you out. We're here helping you out. You know what's comedy? Your owner getting a hand job before the AFC Championship game, at a $30 Jack Shack strip mall in Jupiter, Florida. That's comedy. The best quarterback in the history of the fucking game. You know what's comedy? Him telling you he doesn't want to play for you no more and going to play in Tampa. The best tight end ever telling you he don't want to play for you no more and saying, peace, I'd rather go play, be free. Remember what he told fucking Amendola on Instagram? Go, be free, have fun. They couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. They couldn't wait to get out of there. The Patriot way. What? No more Spygate. No more balls to deflate. What happened? Only organization to get fined 2 first-round picks. They ain't your rings. But everybody knows you cheated. Either way, I don't care if you gained a yard, 10,000 yards. You still fucking cheated. And everybody knows it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's not bring up Aaron Hernandez. Whoa, that's lovely. But hell, anything for the chip, right? Just like somebody going to sell their soul for Deshaun Watson. Anything for the chip. Yeah. Dude, you haven't done shit. You can't even see your dick without a mirror. Shut the fuck up. We all know what type of fucking... We all know what you probably look like behind that camera. Oh, yeah. You got a spy on the Bengals, too. Wow. And that was tough. You had to spy on the Bengals. and they were not that good that year. They had this. No, actually, they were that good that year. I'm lying. They were a little bit of a different team that year. So, Evil Empire version 2. What version was that? What version was that? All right. I've had enough fun. Get your licks in, guys. So had to shoo him away. Had to shoo him away. Yeah. Two of them don't even. One of them doesn't even play. Like, just clowns, man, clowns. Like, clowns. Like, you're so butthurt. You come in here. You're not like on your team's blog. You're not like looking around to see what they're doing. You're not on. You're not trying to. Well, they don't talk about anything anyway. They don't tell their fans anything anyway. They just fucking stay in a bubble. Okay, I respect that. But you so butthurt. I know he's probably like 20 bong rips deep, maybe like a half a case deep, maybe a fifth of something deep, whatever. He's feeling froggy about something, whatever. Come on, man. What a clown. Like, that's what happens. That's copium for you right there. He's got to cope with the ass whoopings that are going to come to his beloved Patriots. That's what's going to happen. We all knew it was coming as Bills fans. We knew that the Bills were in no way, shape, or form in 95, 98% of those games they played. Now it's a different story, and they don't know how to take it. It's finally getting that kid brother is big now. He's big. He's whipping your ass. He's faster than you. He's stronger than you. He learned all your tricks. Now you're his bitch. It's a shame. He's gonna have a hard fan as a facing 17 for the foreseeable future. Let me read some of your comments, guys. You guys are great. Sorry about that. Just what a clown. Yeah, they know they're done. Yeah, it's just 20 years now. It's what is it? It's 4 out of 5. It took like a nor'easter. It took a nor'easter for them to do anything against the Bills or even hold them down in any way, shape, or form. They can't get a legit wide receiver. They have to sign old, slow players. J.C. Jackson just basically like, I want you to pay me or I'm going to dip. And they didn't even want to go through it. He dipped. So they lose him. That hurts. Even the corner they drafted a few years back, Joe Juwan, that guy's he's like a fucking stiff. Watch an old Emmanuel Sanders spin him around like a top on that touchdown in the third quarter of the wild card round. That kid is 26 years old. He looks like a fucking 40-year-old man that can't move. Does Belichick hit on odd player every now and again? Yeah, a lot of teams do. But Mac Jones is a young quarterback. He's solid. He's a decent player. You come in here with respect, I'll show you respect, but don't come in talking shit. I'll give you props on some of your players. I like Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's a good young back. Even this kid, turned out a little decent last year. I didn't have high hopes for him, but Harrison turned out to be a really solid back, really tough yards. Ran a lot harder, had a lot more explosion than I thought he had. They traded Winovich. Yeah, they're trading so many of their players, Eric. Very weird. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they want to freshen up. Maybe they don't want to run back with the same crew. They want to, kind of do similar to what the Bills did with their defensive line anyway. Bills ain't overhauling like that, but yeah, just looking at what the Patriots are doing or not doing, it's early too. It's early. It's very early. So much time in between now and then. But it was very, very different. I know they have that the one big kid from Michigan that plays guard for them. I guess he's going to start for them now. They still have Isaiah Wynn. They still have Andrews. So, be that as it may, they're a solid team. They're a solid team. I'm not going to underestimate anything that they do or look past them or take them lightly or disrespect them. You know, if one of their fans comes in and talks shit, I'll act like a dick if they act like a dick. Only then, though. Yeah, he's not getting old. He's old. He's old. He's an old dude. He's an old dude. I don't even know. It was a player for player. Yeah, that's right, Eric. There was a player for player trade. Mac, something Mac from Cleveland, I believe. That was the trade. Yeah, if it was, it's Mac Wilson. They have two Macs, but his is the K. They're obsessed with collecting Alabama players. They have a lot. They have loved that Nick Saban tie thing. But I know they brought back Hoyer as their backup. Let me see some of what the Jets did. The Ozama tight end, and they signed Tyler Conklin too. That's a nice combo that they put together there at tight ends. Laken Tomlinson. I guess they got to hold Mekhi Becton is under 400 pounds at some point. I mean, that's a 4th overall pick. What is he? A 4th overall pick, I believe. Yeah, man. That's it. That's it. Yeah, it's pretty sick, Trevor. It's a sick group. I mean, you got to see it, kind of gel and come together on the field, obviously. But right now, I mean, you got to say on paper, and if my whole thing is like I see Von Miller, and the next thing I think about is one of those young defensive ends just coming to fruition, just coming into his own, That's what I think. That's what I think about, with this whole situation. Is like if one of those defensive ends just comes off and starts sacking the quarterback and starts making hay, like that is going to be great. That is going to be 100% like, wow, then teams are really going to have serious problems. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to read some of the comments here. Some of the so do you think that now this is the opener? Like, is this possibly our opener now? Like, really? Like, is this, it's probably Bills. Is it Bills? Because I heard it's one of two things. It's either Dallas in LA or it's Bills in LA. It was one of those two. It was one of those two games. It was one of those two. Yeah, it's on Bill's Snapchat now, so we're rolling. We are rolling. Sorry, guys. Have my phone on a stand here. I'm trying to talk to some Giant. I have some friends that are Giant fans, and they like shooting the shit. They're asking me about Vaughn and stuff, and they talk to me a lot about Shane and a lot about Daboll, and I try to fill them in. And I know a lot of Bills people were on their radio or on their website. Like I know Sal was on there. I don't know, somebody else did. Chris Brown did something for them. And I know they signed, Antonio Williams, John Feliciano went there. Tyrod Taylor's their backup quarterback. Now, Mitchell Trubisky's in up in Pittsburgh now. So, yeah, man, it's early, Trevor, but holy hell, dude! Wow. What do you think? What do you think's a realistic stat line for Von Miller? Like, what do you think is a realistic stat line? And just to read this, and it, and maybe it is like a validation. Maybe it is that like little dopamine of, hit of like, I'm told Miller's camp conveyed their interest in Buffalo early on. And a big part of that was Miller wanting to play with Josh Allen. I mean, that's a guy who played with Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? And that's just, for me, it's like he was there with that guy and playing against Tom Brady in that. Remember that AFC Championship game in Denver to go to that Super Bowl, where Peyton was just broken down and that defense was just insane, man. Yeah, he's right in your backyard, Doug. Right in your backyard, man. And I really hope that, I mean, I'm looking at a good year, realistic year. Von Miller with this group, this defense, playing ahead in games, because they're going to get opportunities to sack the quarterback. They're going to have the Bills are going to put up points. They're going to score points. They're going to be ahead in games. That's not homer talk. That's reality. We know this. But you have I'm looking at anywhere between 12 to 14 sacks. Okay, 11 and a half to 13 and a half. How about that? I want to anywhere between 3 to 5 forced fumbles, a couple of recoveries. If you throw a scoop and score in there, awesome. Not a big pass batter. He's not a big deflection guy. I really love upwards of 25 to 35 QB hits. But adding, that's why I really just, only thing I think about is which one of those young guys is going to go off because of this. Which one? Because one of them's, I feel it in my bones. It's just one thing I feel in my bones. The second I saw the Miller signing and saw it was legit, and it was no bullshit, and it was really real, I'm like, okay, we saw the way Oliver ascended second half of the year, picked up all of his sacks after week 11, week 12. I just feel it, second year in the system, second year in the NFL. You got to look at Epinesa. Just also the first year was the COVID year, not being in. This is the first year these guys are going to get actual camp, actual training camp, actual, going back in the building. They're going to be able to live together. They're not going to be able to all separated and all this craziness. They're just going to be as a team, as a unit. And if Oliver takes another jump, great. Wow. But if it's one of those ends, to me, it's one of those ends, Doug. It's got to be. I'm looking for that Dawson Knox, even Devin Singletary second half of the year. He's a different player. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to recuse myself. He had a great game against Pittsburgh. I know he fumbled, but shit. Was it the second offensive play of the game in Miami, scores a touchdown? I think he was ready to break out all along. They just needed to ride him more and feed him more, and he finally got his burn. Yeah, his get off is super, super fast. Next Gen had him rated as like the third fastest get off. If he just puts a finishing product on that, just puts something on the other end of that, man, that's something special right there. That is something special. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to read some of the, if there's anything on Twitter. My timeline gets bogged up with shit. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of Bills fans celebrating. A lot of people put, you get a lot of suggesteds now, even from people you don't follow, which I get, but I prefer that Twitter would not do that with their algorithm. But wow, I'm still getting lost in the shuffle of them, doing what they did. I was just really happy that they were able to retain McKenzie. They kept Siran Neal. They were able to keep Mitch Morris in the fold, extend him. And then, if you add OJ Howard, which they done, Jordan Phillips brought back DaQuan Johnson, Jones. I'm sorry, DaQuan Johnson. I don't know why I want to call him Johnson. DaQuan Jones. They haven't announced the settled deal yet. You got to wonder, you never know. Again, you never know. We saw that with McKissick, so you never know. And the cornerback spot, now that becomes the other focus. I still think we firmly have the best roster easily in the division, So I'm really, really excited here. If they do Trevor, yeah, he came back, Matt, in the second half. What was it when they got the injury? Bakker blew his Achilles. He had to come in. Spencer had to flip back to right tackle. He came in, and then Bates, and that was it. That was their unit. That was they were that their offensive line was a different unit from that point on. They were damn good. They were like they were pretty damn good. Yeah, their defense is just wow. That they're they just I don't even want to say how can you reload a number one overall defense? You know what I mean? With it was yards, point. They just wow. It was so quiet. There was absolutely nothing putting the Bills with Miller. Yeah, man, nothing. And I love that though, Eric. I love that. There's no noise. There's no leaks. There's no craziness. I mean, we all saw the hit piece that and I like Tyler Dunn, but I know where he's getting his information from. He's got two guys that, McDermott fired in Doug Whaley and Jim Monos, and now we know that those were the guys that would leak all the stuff about Rex, and then Rex would leak his stuff to his people, and that's when One Bills Drive was an absolute clown show. And once all that circus got out of there, and they got down to business and being professional and keeping stuff in house, there's no leaks. It's just an airtight, very calm, cool, collected, measured, and they get shit done. They don't make noise. They just get shit done. Yeah, different player, Matt. Completely different player. Yeah, it was LA, it was Dallas. I heard once they was Dallas, Eric. That was the thing that I heard, or read. I should say read, but I didn't. I hadn't heard anything. I always just thought it was kind of funny. Dallas got spurned by Gregory because they stuck with him through all those drug suspensions and all the shit that he did down there, and then I guess the language in the contract wasn't to his liking and his agent's liking. They tried some, something that maybe he didn't like, and they were like, nope, not doing that. If you have gun to my head, Doug, I would have said probably, yeah. I mean, he's probably going to go back to LA. I mean, despite all my fanboy stuff, with the Bills, I still think like, wow, the guy will pick LA. They just won a Super Bowl. His familiarity. Why not? Why not go back there? Like what? Why disturb what he didn't? He could have went back to Denver. They were looking for a pass rusher. He knows the team, everything. Nope. Could have went back to his home state. Nope. He wanted something new. He wanted something fresh. And he's picking this quarterback to come play with above all those other quarterbacks. That should tell us everything we need to know right there. He's saying that this is the dude that I feel is like that alpha, the alpha amongst alphas. That's awesome. That is just an awesome thing. Oh, Bills just dropped. It's Miller time. A bunch of Von Miller's highlights. Trying to read some of the comments here, but yeah, like thinking about like they I know they like to wait, but again, if one of those young ends pops, that's just gonna make everything so much easier, so much easier. And I should just Von Miller sacking or he knocked down Tyrod and he won't pick him up. That's fucked up. It was a very weird quarterback carousel. And I don't know about the rest of you guys, but this whole thing has just made me appreciate having one now and seeing what the rest of most of the league is going through, whether it's the Colts, whether it's, Houston thinking they had one, and then he does what he does, and then, their organization just goes to holy hell. Because if you look at after that playoff win where the Bills just basically handed it to them, and they go into KC, go up by 24, blow that game, and then they're never the same since. O'Brien's fired. Unfortunately, their owner passes away. They trade away their franchise wide receiver. Then, they lose a franchise icon in Watt. Their quarterback does what he does. They just explode everything. The Browns thinking that they finally landed on something. They beat the hated Pittsburgh rivals in the playoffs. They just, and then ever since then it crumbles, it crumbles. He gets injured. There's other injuries. OBJ finagles his way out of there, which I thought was pretty obvious how he did it. I think he sandbagged it, and I think he had his dad do that video and put it on, have it get put out there. And man, to not deal with all that bullshit just was crazy, and it feels so good, It feels good to not have all those issues, to not have a clown show, like Indy battered the Bills, right? They handed the ball to Jonathan Taylor on a loop, and he did what he did. We all watched it, but still, like, who would you rather be today? Who would you rather be? Who do you think Indy would rather? I mean, seriously. I mean, that's how good it feels, man. That's what I was enjoying. I wasn't even thinking about who they were signing. I just thought I was just enjoying not dealing with that. The Saffold signing to me was like, that's perfect. I love it. If they just did that, I'd be happy for 2 weeks, just protect our quarterback, keep him upright. The Settle signing, the Jones signing, keeping our guys in house, and they lost some guys, and they needed to shake the tree a little bit. Sometimes you need some new blood. You can't keep rolling back with the same crew, even though it felt nice. You wanted to win with that group, but ultimately, you still need, just that new energy, that, a new edge. But Buffalo Bill, is there a player you think we can still get in free agency or trade for that would put, I don't know how much more over the top? I don't want none of that, Buffalo Bill. I don't want no running backs with no big price tags, with no injury histories. To me, that's a plug and play rotational position. JD McKissick, undrafted free agent. Go get yourself an undrafted free agent, Go find a 5th round version of whoever, a 4th round Ramondre Stevenson. Go do that, Don't waste any primetime resources on that position. I give the ball to Devin Singletary 15 to 20 times a game and let him run it for you. Commit to him, and then find somebody else. Maybe Moss finds his groove. They've shown patience, but I'm not interested in putting any big resources on this. We're a passing team. We're a pass first team. We're a go for it type of team. 4th and short, 4th and medium on our side, on their side of the field. We're probably going for it. So yeah, man, I'm just feeling like we're just in a different place now. We got to start thinking on a little bit different plane, as opposed to like traditional, the shady trade, because you don't know who your quarterback is. You're going into a season where there's like what was it? It was Castle, it was EJ, and it was Tyrod. Mike, there's none of that here. We have one quarterback on the roster, and that's the only quarterback we need. Because if anybody else besides him plays, that's a nightmare. Yeah, man, it's something you have to have. You have to close there. You have to have a finisher. And this guy's a finisher. He's a proven finisher. So, I mean, I know the age and the money, but he's a proven winner. He's a proven winner. He's a proven product. He's done it at the highest level on the biggest stage. And yeah, I'm surprised too, man. Maybe there's something in the works. Maybe there's something there that they could, Yeah, I have no clue, Doug. I mean, for me, like I would like to think, God bless the guy, but I hope he never plays. Oh, Bill's just, official edit. How does that look, guys? That's his Texas A&M number, right? He wore that at Texas A&M. That looks pretty. That looks surreal. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's just, whoever it is, maybe it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Maybe it's, I just got to repost that. Just got to repost that for the sake of life's short, man. You got to enjoy these little things. You know what I mean? Today I mean, our organization, our team is in a great spot, but today is like, wow, today is just such a nice, such a nice, such a nice day. Trying to fucking, damn it. They change stuff so much on here, you can never find anything. They're always putting updates and changing things and adding things. Yeah, man, sexy Eric, and I won't say that about another grown man. Only another man in a Bills uniform. That's it. Yeah, man, that's wow. You know, and how often do you add 100 sack guy? And not often. I mean, even Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is around the same age. Chandler Jones is what? Let me see. I think he's the same age. I think if he maybe he's a little younger. Let me see. It's 2012. Okay, they're around the same age. I think Vaughn's just a little older. Just a little older. But their sack production was the same. They both it's crazy. They both had an injury riddled 20. You know, I know Vaughn with the ankle. I can't remember what happened to Chandler. I think it was an ACL for Chandler. But Chandler's production prior to that was insane. 19 sacks, 13 sacks, 17 sacks. I mean, it's pretty crazy his production. Yeah, New England moved on from him too. Wow. They haven't I mean, they've gotten some sack production, but not like that. Broncos signing Tom Compton to a 1-year deal. That was I wonder if they're going to come out tomorrow. I mean, hopefully we'll see a press conference tomorrow. The chicken, he's a chick. Yeah, that's right. He's like a chicken dude, right? He's got like chickens. He's got like chicken coops or something like that. He's got some sort of chicken coop thing. Yeah, and they had Addison, and Addison's never been Von Miller. I mean, even Hughes at his best was never Von Miller. So you're looking at a guy that they're going to have in their team for 2-3 years. You know, hopefully give them some double-digit sack production, big game production, late game production, force some turnovers, force quarterbacks to do things they don't want to do, accelerate their clock, make them make throws they might not want to make earlier, or just not at all because they're on the ground. Oh yeah, Texas A&M, right? Like agriculture, machinery, stuff. So yeah, he was into that farming stuff. Texas kid. I knew there was a backstory behind it. I just didn't know like the crux of it all. Sorry, the video is so disjointed. I can't put a clear thought, concise. You know, I didn't even say that right. You know, I can't put a clear, concise thought together or a coherent sentence. I just did not expect it. I mean, I just had to run out for a minute, had to pick something up, my aunt, and come back home, and sat down. I wasn't in the seat for 5 minutes, and then bang, 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 and I'm like, "Is it real? Is it real?" You got to check like 20 different times. Okay, there's a blue check. There's a blue check. It's this guy saying it, that guy saying it. Then Vaughn says it himself. I'm like, "Oh shit, it's real." And then you see the numbers, you're kind of like, wow. It's just you just did not expect it. I sound like a broken record, Eric. I'm gonna sound like a broken record about one of those two dudes just going off. One of those three dudes going off. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, man. Yeah, I and then like it was him, right? And then I saw OJ Howard and I'm like, oh my God. Like I love that guy coming out. Like that type of tight end as our number 2. Are you fucking kidding me? You know, I can't like I just seeing that guy being able to play detached and find that's how he wants to play. He wants to be a big slot, line him up, detached, outside, mismatch, red zone, jump ball situations, big man win situations. You know, Josh was willing to throw it again. Tyler Croft, and I think he had how many touchdowns did he throw to Croft and Lee Smith in 2020? Like 7 or 8? What's he gonna do with Knox and Howard? You know, wow. Like seriously, like holy shit. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, Number 2 tight end. I mean, everybody thought they were going to sign a Tampa Bay Buccaneer tight end, but we ended up like with a different one. That's the really nice move. And I know the Jets made some moves at tight ends, but now you just add that diversity on offense. Now they don't know what they're going to get hit with. Sometimes maybe that multiple tight end shit is a lot more advantageous for you. They're going to have problems matching up with that. Or maybe it's going to be the spread them out with the wide receivers and make their bigs have to cover people if they have slower linebackers. Just look at the Patriots in the last game that they played. I mean, they didn't have any answers. They just didn't have any answers, with their personnel. Yeah, he's pretty good in the run game. He's a lot better than I thought he could be, and I believe he was, but I don't know if it was photo op stuff, things they do for the website, because I know he's got his own business and does his own thing. He does some stuff with some hotels and resorts and stuff. Bruce is he's a hard ass, but I don't think you have 200 sacks in the NFL and not be a hard ass. So, wow, what would he be worth on the market nowadays? Buccaneers franchise, Chris Godwin, he reached an agreement on 3 years, $60 million, $40 million guaranteed, and that's with an ACL. Holy shit. That's pretty crazy. I'm just reading some Bills fans here. Bills fans are just going crazy. And you know what? Why not, man? We've been in the shit for so long. We haven't had, obviously in the last 3 years, Josh gave us a lot to be hopeful for at the end of his rookie year, with the running, some crazy throws he made. And then finally getting to the playoffs with him in 19, and then the breakout year and following it up again last year. They went through their ups and their downs, but man, you got to enjoy days like this. You just really do as a sports fan and as a fan of this team. If bigger organizations, so-called, bigger markets make moves, and it's like, wow, for it to be us, it's kind of like, okay, I don't need that validation. It's just like, I feel like we have that validation now, but it just further gets ramped home. Like, I shouldn't be shocked. I don't think these moves should shock us anymore, because I think they're going to happen a lot more frequently because of the organization, because of the way they handle players, the way they keep players healthy, the way they, allow players to be themselves and not, they have to be team-oriented guys and not distractions and, all about ball, but they all still let them be them, much like Diggs. Diggs is a different kind of cat, but they let him be him, and he vibes with Josh. Josh vibes with him, and Josh is just kind of the Pied Piper. Everybody kind of just like, this dude's a dog, and players know. The players know. So when the players are telling you that kid is legit, I believe it. And when players on other teams say it, you damn well better believe it. Let me read some of your comments, guys. Cowboy, yeah, they did, man. They did. He got 4 and 32. They have a nice. I know Cedric Wilson signed with the Dolphins. They had some good wide receivers. There's 2 cases in point right there. Maybe the Bills don't go wide receiver in the first round, because you look at Cedric Wilson. I think he was drafted in the 7th. Michael Gallup was the 5th. Those guys were good, man. Those guys were good. They made tons of plays for Dak Prescott and that team, and they were good. They were good. And Cooper was in and out of that lineup a lot. And those guys held it down. I think the Bills are going to get to a Super Bowl at least. Don't know if they have shit. I don't know. I mean, a lot could happen, man. A lot could happen. So I'm just going to enjoy the ride. But it started off with the bang. First day of the league year. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, it's everything that you it's everything you hope to see. Your team is considered one of the best. It's a destination. It's a place where the best want to come and play with the best. They view the quarterback. I mean, you don't get you don't get talent of this caliber. You don't get people calling you unless you have something like this in terms of the quarterback, in terms of the type of coach and stability. That's what players want. They don't want to worry about, okay, is the coach going to get fired? Is everybody going to get cleared out? Who's throwing the ball next year, this year? It's like Darius Leonard. It's one of the best defensive players in the league, one of the best linebackers in the league. He's posted on Twitter, 5 straight years of this shit, different quarterbacks, different stuff, there's a guy seen a lot of his career, with all that inconsistency at the most important position. There's a shortage of them, man. Josh Allen's that kid is a $500 million player. Like, he's a $500 million player. Like, that's how valuable he is. I wouldn't trade him for 10 first-round picks in a fucking row. I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade him for 15. That's how important he is and how valuable he would be to anybody. Yes, the Bills, I'm going to read in some of the large part. They didn't have an elite pass rush. Depth was great for sure. There wasn't a big gap in between 1 and 6. That's great. This guy confirmed adult. I guess Josh Allen's an adult. No, just the whole thing, what they said about Baker earlier. Somebody posted that. It's one of the media people, because people pick up on what they say, what they're saying about, Baker Mayfield and other situations throughout the league. So, I'm not going to throw shade on him. This is a Bills thing, not a Cleveland thing. But, yeah, man, I really, what else could they do? I mean, wow, what else are they going to do? I mean, the draft, I mean, if you look at it, it's gravy right now, it's gravy. Everything that they're going to do in the draft is going to be gravy. It's just, you don't need it, but man, it's just going to add, and you pull. And the thing that I think they're going to do, because they lost players last year, I mean, in terms of they tried to stash them on the practice squad. Philly came and got Jack Anderson. Wild Goose got scooped up by the Jets because of injuries. Maybe they liked him coming out too, and they get a chance, like, okay, we can just sign him. He'll come onto our 53. I don't think they're either going to push picks down the road, or they're going to try to move up in the mid rounds. And like, we really want that guy. We'll give up this 5th, this 6th, whatever. We're just going to jump up and get him. Cheap talent. I mean, talent is talent. And if it's cheap, it's even better. Oh man. Yeah, man. Doggy, the 10 games, 11 games, 2 Super Bowls. That's no joke. I mean, he proves it when it's time. I think in this just past playoff run too, he had 4. He led the league. So just in this one last playoff run alone, I'm going to double check it before I talk out of both sides of my mouth. Feel me? Yeah, he had 2 against it. Wow, he had 2. He had 1 against Tampa Bay. He had 1 against Arizona. 6 tackles, 3 for loss against Arizona. He had 6 QB hits, 4 sacks, 1 pass defense, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. That's all this past run that they went on. The last playoff game he was in was the Super Bowl prior to that. And he had 5 sacks. And the previous 2 were one and dones. And the other was his first game against Pittsburgh, the Tebow game in 2012. Tebow to Demaryius Thomas. May he rest in peace. So he's had, I mean, and he plays a good amount of snaps. I mean, his lowest snap count was the Arizona game, and they blew them out 59%. Every other game is upwards of 70 and up. So he plays. He is on the field. So he's not a guy that's getting spotted. He is rushing the passer. And the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, those images of him, terrorizing Cam Newton. I didn't realize he had 2 in this last one, though. I didn't those. I have to go back and watch that game now, see how he did. What do you think about the punter from that kid? Is Jesus Christ. The thing is, Los, I don't think we're gonna punt that much. But if you have somebody punting for you and it's that kid, holy shit! Like, I don't think. I think a team that knows they're going to struggle with field position, a team that wants to play that game, and not that McDermott doesn't, because he does. He still has that in him. But let's be honest. Sometimes you need a good punt from your punter. Sometimes you're praying for a good front punt from your punter. There will be a 3 and out, and you're going to want your punter to boom one, not outkick the coverage so much where you get burned, but to the point where it's like, okay. You know, another crazy thing about him, he led their team in special teams tackles. Like, that's crazy. How the fuck do you punt and still lead the team in special teams tackles? That's insane. But I mean, I see that kid getting taken in the 3rd round, 4th round. I don't see him. I mean, that's, yeah, 3rd or 4th, man. And the Penn State punter, is good too. But that kid, that Ariza kid is crazy. That kid's like a punter version of, he's Johnny Heckert when he was younger. He's a punter version of Tucker. Why that it's his home state. He was a ball boy there. I believe Arthur Blank attended some of his high school games. I think when you go into those situations and you have all that craziness happen, you're just looking for comfort zones and trust. And if you hear anything about what goes on in Houston, there's a lot of distrust and a lot of mistrust, I should say. And you're just looking for safe spaces. You don't want to be around people that you feel like could burn you. And I know he put himself in bad positions, man. He's a young guy. He's making a lot of money. Women are going to come at you. I get it. But, you come at them in the DMs and you're a target, you better be prepared, man, because that's stupid for the average guy. Me, you, that's dumb. We're playing with fire and we're going to get burned. But for a guy like him, it's double fucking stupid. Don't do that, man. Wasn't their place kicker to yeah, he kicked some long kicks for them. My friend just he sent me a thing of his grandfather. He's approving of the Von Miller signing. That's awesome. Yeah, he kicked some long field goals for them, but he kicked off for them. I mean, we have Bass, but that kid did a lot of crazy. I mean, again, it's a gravy draft, so whatever they do, it's gonna be interesting because it's just gonna tell us what they want to do, what they feel about Bill's just posted a thing. Josh just taking a shotgun. Is he shotgunning that beer? I think he just shotgunned that whole beer. Playing video games and shit. Wow, he had a strip sack and recovery on Brady. That's crazy. The leverage on that play. He just asses. That's the bend. That's the bend. Just being able to close the gap right there. Just being able to close that gap and just finish that sack and just create that turnover. That play right there. This guy posted. I'll put it in the room right now. That just changes the game. It's a sack in Tampa's territory at their 25, and that just, LA was up 27, and that game ended up being a lot closer than it should have been. Some could argue Tampa Bay should have won it, but that it's this play right here that if he can provide this, that's what's gonna just make the signing over the top. I'm gonna put it in the room for you guys. I got it. Sorry about my long-winded spiel. Here's my thinking first round corner. I mean, again, I can't argue with any. If you order those anyway, Trevor, I can't argue with you. Like if that's what you feel, that I can't argue with you. You know what I mean? I can't. I not argue. I can't offer a better variation. But if I say wide receiver 1, O-line 2, I think Josh Allen upright. That's me. I think Josh Allen upright. I think Josh Allen protection. I think offensive line, short yardage, moving people, moving the line, controlling the line. Our biggest misses, their biggest mishaps came on the lines, not controlling that space in Jacksonville, at home against Indy, away at Tennessee. So I think those games, again, even the first half against Tampa Bay till they calmed it down, those games impacted them the most with their thinking with this offseason. And that play I just posted right there says that's what they want. Yeah, man. So, see, that's what I mean, Trevor. If I'm sitting here April 29th or 8th, and they take a corner, I'm good. They take an offensive lineman, I'm good. They take a wide receiver, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Not mad. Just, again, that's why I say it's a gravy draft. Gravy. Yeah, man. He's used to them. He's faced them, their schemes, their players. Mahomes, Herbert, Carr. His own team. They're just gonna beat up on each other. That's kind of like, I like them adding Russell Wilson. It's like, okay, you guys are just gonna beat up on each other. It's gonna be it's just gonna be an arms race. Like who's gonna break? I like Burks. I just like the bigger guy that can do more. He had the most 20-yard plays in NC1. I mean, he's big. Like he's like legit AJ Brown, a little bit bigger, fucking size XL, 4X hands. Just, he's a country boy. He likes to hunt. He likes to fish. So the whole Buffalo thing he would love it. Like that whole, environment and being in there. I just think that, he's another good player. There's so many good wide receivers, and Josh is our quarterback. The pieces we have, those guys just have to come in, they just have to come in. They have no expectations. Come in, assimilate, get cozy, get your feet wet, wean them in, spoon feed them, and then, if they pop off, they pop off. Yeah, Burke is fucking. Yeah, that's what I mean, Los. We've never had a receiver like that. We've still yet to have a receiver like that. We've yet to have a receiver. I mean, our biggest, most physical receiver, two of them, I'd say, was Reed and Moulds. Arguably two best wide receivers in our franchise history. But I mean, that's just a different level of specimen. Yeah, he's probably, I would say, with the McKenzie re-sign, the Howard signing, I would say he's probably, he's probably gone. And what a great signing he was, to come in, to get Josh an available target, a reliable target, third down, the guy was his third down, clutch as they come. Played on a broken leg, did everything. I mean, I respect him. I respect the hell out of him. I respect him for standing up for what he thought was right also, because I know that's a hard position. It's not easy in this world to stand up and go against the grain nowadays, but I still respect him for that too. Raiders, I just posted a thing of Chandler Jones, and they have Max Crosby, so they have a pretty nasty 1-2 punch. I think injuries and just I don't think he was a right fit for that team. I don't think he was a fit with Arians. I think he was more of a Dirk Koetter guy, a Lovie Smith guy. I think Lovie Smith had probably already gone, but I think Dirk Koetter was there. And then Arians unretired and came, and after the Winston year, with Brady, and also I think that was more the issue. Can we time warp molds onto this? Wow, dude, that would be crazy. Yeah, but Burks, Christian Watson, I mean George Pickens. There's so many good receivers. The corner is kind of like, again, just the small school guys that they tend to like. I actually have a list of the wide receivers right here. I should have just looked at it instead of trying to just jog my terrible memory. Like Drake London, like Chris Olave ran like a 4. What did he run? He ran like a 4.3 something, right? Sky Moore, Calvin Austin the third, Jalen Tolbert. I mean, I know Justin Ross before he had a neck thing. It was at Clemson, and they won with Trevor Lawrence. Like he was his main target. The David Bell kid from Purdue had a lot of Wendell Robinson, the guy who transferred from Nebraska to Kentucky, Kyle Phillips from UCLA, Kevin Austin Jr. They just have so many guys, man. It's that's why I'm going to really start looking and digging into the offensive linemen now, because I just think that's now I really, truly, honestly feel that's where they're going to go, because it's just they're going to want to keep that side of the ball, that line. You just can't function without a good line. You could have the best receivers. You have, you just need that to function. Obviously Linderbaum's not an option. I don't think they'll take one of the guards, whether it's Zion or Kenyon Green. The kid from Tulsa intrigues the fuck out of me, Tyson Smith. I think he's a guy they'd kick into guard. I've heard he's got a lot of nasty to him. Former Bill went there, was talking about him on Twitter a little bit. Jerry Ostrowski, he went to Tulsa. So who's the sixth? Oh, the kid from was it Sam Houston? Is that Sam Houston State? He was a wide receiver. Tyquan Woolen. That's how it is. No, it's Woolen. Gardner went to Cincinnati. No, it's Tyquan Woolen. Yeah, man, Trevor, I can't wait. It's crazy because it's like it happens fast, but now with today, it gives us that little, look at me. I look like a junkie right now. I don't mean to shouldn't make light of that stuff, but it gives us our little hit. We've been fiending, and yeah, it's Tyquan Woolen from. He looks like a science teacher. I don't know what else to think about him. Like, he does some good sound bites. He does some good sound bites. I mean, he's been pretty much a guy that's just kind of been there with Shanahan everywhere he's gone. Now to be a head coach in that organization, I don't know, man. They do, Doug. They do. That I 100% they need speed, but back to McDaniel. I just think that they need. I don't know. They still have two at quarterback. They signed Bridgewater. Would it shock me if Bridgewater replaces him at some point? They're near. No. That's why they signed a backup of that caliber. It's like, hey, if this guy shits the bed, we're dumping him in. I mean, look at the Jets did today. They re-signed Flacco and they brought back Mike White. I mean, Joe Douglas is going into his fourth offseason with the Jets with 2 top 10 picks. They gonna give him another offseason? They're gonna give him another offseason if that team doesn't do anything? If they're 6-10, 5-11, 4-12, I don't know, man. Well, they're gonna try to play keep away, Eric, and they signed a fullback. The Edmonds signing I liked. I'm not gonna lie, I like Chase Edmonds. I like that kid. I was a little like I like that kid. Better than Javonte Williams, though, because that's who they wanted last year in the draft. They traded up and missed. That must have really sucked. It's one shot. I didn't see it, Doug. I'll check it out. But when you're in that seat, man, I can't imagine. Like, I mean, we sit here and talk, but to be in that seat, to lead men, to be that dude, that's tough. And you see him, he's not a big dude. I know he played ball though. He played ball. So it's not like he's a pussy. He looks like a geek, but he played ball. He's been around dudes, he's been in the league. He's, I mean, he knows the lingo, so we'll see, man. I mean, Salah looks the part, right? He looks the part. He's got that edge to him, all gas, no brakes, all that shit, But you saw how they played last year. I mean, their defense was trash, and there was injuries, there was talent, but they draft in the top 10 all the time. They have seemingly always have tons of money in free agency all the time. They just never hit. Their guys always crash, whether it's Le'Veon Bell, whether it's CJ Mosley getting injured, Tremaine Johnson, the wide receivers that they've gone after, the lineman they've tried to sign, it just never. I mean, they signed Carl Lawson, he blows his Achilles. I mean, it sucks, Unpressured McDaniels was saying his wife would ask him what kind of bread he wanted, white or wheat, and he said his mind was like, I don't know. He was like burnt out. Oh, well, if he's burnt out now, wait till he gets into the season and the media is hammering him after they get blown out or something, and it's week 7 and you're 3-4. Sorry, I'm just reading the comments, some of the stuff, guys. I know a lot of people are fanboying it up right now, but that's what today's are for, They same day this year, 316 day. It seems to be Bean Day. He drafted, he traded for Stephon Diggs 2 years ago today, and today he trades for Von Miller. So it seems like he likes to do business today. It's kind of a funny thing. Is that a coincidence, or just kind of happens because it's the first day? Movement can happen. But either way, it's to our benefit. Unimpressed. Yeah, I don't like wheat bread. It's not healthy, actually. It's just one of those. It's like brown rice. Brown rice really is not healthy. It's very hard to digest. White rice is way better for you. I gotta say, I really like Salah, but that organization, yeah, dude. Yeah. You know what, though, man? Nobody cried for us. Nobody wrote home for us as Bills fans. I remember there was a couple of times a Dolphin fan came in here and talked shit after Jay Ajayi ran all over them a couple of times. There was a few times, I remember that Marrone game. Was it a Thursday night game in Miami where it's like basically just punted the season away? The Jets, I remember the game in Toronto where they ran for like 300 yards. Sean Green and Thomas Jones. Just, they had a little bit of a good run. The Bills were just kind of just a team on the schedule. So I don't feel bad for the rest of the division. I don't feel bad for the Patriots. They've got to chase. They've got to figure it out. That's on them. We just got to sit back and enjoy our team and what they do and how they put this together. From today, which was a very good day, but it's going to be interesting to see how they put the rest of the Lego together, because that's what I look at it as. The roster's a Lego, and you have, you build your foundation, and then now you're going to add little bits of, all this cool shit. You don't need it, but it's cool shit. It's something to look at. So that's what I want to see. Rex's precious defense. They got blown out by the Dolphins that year. Yeah, there was that. I mean, it was just tons of things, whether it was Marrone as the coach or Gailey as the coach or Jaron as the coach, just the Bills were just there. They were there. They could win the odd game, but I mean, come on. We were that was us. That was them. That's not the way it is anymore. It's different now, and we're the benefactors of it. So I don't feel bad for them. That's on them. They want to be fans of that team. They're fans of that team. You know what? Hope we whip your ass every time they play. You know, Bills by $1 billion. You know, Bills by $1 billion. That's it. That's just run it up. You know, don't show no quarter. No quarter was shown to us. Ever. That was funny. Somebody put a meme up of McKissick trying to come back. But you know what? If that's the situation that he wanted to be in, and it was good for him and his family or something, you know, he didn't want to leave, uproot his, you know, I'm not going to knock the guy. I'm not going to get on social media and talk shit to him or talk shit about him. That's stupid, you know? That's stupid. The Patriots are a Jenga tower. Tom Brady is the one piece that gets taken away and everything else falls down. I mean, I think that they're like, I'd say he's the one piece, but you got to really question or even think like, man, there was a big exodus from there in terms of coaches, like the offensive coordinator who everybody, including myself, thought was going to just take over for Belichick, you know, just like, hey, I'm coming in, you know, Belichick's going to retire and it's Josh, you know, the way he left that Colts job high and dry with Andrew Luck, he didn't take it. He went to Vegas. He goes to Vegas. And, you know, there was that. There's everything. You know, their free agent signings haven't been the best. I mean, Judon seemed like a nice player, but then he seemed like a different player in the second half of the year. I mean, when he had to finally play in space and he had to play detached, he couldn't play with his hand in the dirt and he had to do some running around. I know he was suffering an injury. I know he caught the cold or whatever, and he was sick and, you know, sometimes playing in cold weather. Shit. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I'm sitting on the bus the other day. I'm headed up Kennedy Boulevard. You know, gym's a quick ride, so I just hop on. Fucking gas prices are out of the fucking roof. It's just like $1 and change ride. I see a guy I haven't seen in a long time. Finally comes back to the gym. So I'm bullshitting with him. I put my phone in the seat. I move seats, but I didn't take it with me, right? I get off the bus. I'm walking, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I left it. That bus is going to New York City. I fucking I think I set a record for the quarter mile. Like, no shit. I got to that fucking bus at the light before it headed down the ramp to get to the turn to go to Lincoln Tunnel. I jumped right on. The phone was face down on the cover in the seat, and I was like, I was just sucking air. And I run 6 days a week, but it was just my adrenaline, my like nervousness, like, oh shit, that's my phone. I got stuff on there. I have my, you know, I had lost my debit card, so I'm using the Apple Pay for everything. And I'm like, shit, that was woo. And I caught it. And I still have to go to the gym and work out and everything. So I was just, so my point of saying that is I can only imagine like a dude that weighs 260 pounds, you have to run around and chase NFL athletes in a stressed out situation and you're not feeling well, you're sick. That, you know, that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be easy. Yeah, dude, I was in pain. That was one of the most painful runs I ever did. And I was running as fast, but I got it. I got it. My friend's laughing at me right now. Eric's just like laughing. He's watching. He's like, yo, he's enjoying it. He's feeling good. You know, he's a Bills fan. Has been watching a long time here too. You know, suffered just like the rest of us. But yeah, so I can only imagine being a dude that is much bigger man than me, trying to exert myself at a very, very high level against other people in cold ass weather. Because it was cold that day. Because there was a day here last week. It was like one day was like today here. It was like 60, 65 degrees, beautiful. Next day, it was cold and snowy. So which day do you think my dumbass decides to go leave the phone on the bus? The cold and snowy day. So I'm, but I got it. I got it back. And I just put my hands on my hips. I walked all the way back to where I had to go, relieved, but I was like, I was in pain. I was in pain. Oh, man. But thanks for listening to that quick bullshit story. But it just kind of like, I think about like, wow, how does an athlete feel, you know, having to perform at a high level, stressed in, you know, the weather in Buffalo when they were just, that's, you know, he looked tired. They looked old. They looked slow. And I could understand it. I could understand why they look like that. And they're going to have to face that again. That's not going to go. That's not going away. Buffalo's going to have crazy weather. They're going to have the odd game with winds. And, you know, they're going to have to do some creative stuff to gain yards. That's why I feel like a guy like Burks, you know, you could run those jet sweep reverses. You could run those quick hitter wide receiver screens, but you're doing it with a 225-pound wide receiver as opposed to 175-pound, 180-pound Isaiah McKenzie. You know, that's 40 pounds more running downhill at you. That's a different type of business decision. You know, and you know, jump ball situations, you know, 50-50 ball situations, you know, a guy like that. That's why I want some weatherproof players. You know, I want some players that are weatherproof. It took it out of me, Doug, man. It went in and just took it right out. I still managed to run my 4 miles though, but I felt that. I felt them. Them shits felt different that day. They felt way different that day. Trying to see if anything else happened. I'm sure you guys would keep me up to date if anything happened. I'm just trying to read some of the stuff. People putting up different stuff. You know, mostly just fans reacting, and which is going to happen. That's the positive thing. That's the fun thing about today. I was honestly going to come on and do a video, do a live, and just tell, you know, Bills fans to relax. You know, let's enjoy the Saffold signing. I like the Jones signing, which I do. The Settle signing, I haven't even talked about those. I did like that. I do like them keeping their guys in house, doing the in-house business, getting things ready to roll, you know, having a plan, executing it. Guys don't want to get to free agency. They want to stay in Buffalo. You know, Morse says, I want to retire a Bill. McKenzie, I'm loyal. I want to be here. I'm familiar with this. I like this. I can be productive here. This is the place that gave me my shot. I want to stay here. Despite, you know, the roughs, you know, he had a really rough patch. I mean, that Colts mistake was epic, you know, and he recovered for it. You know, that game in Foxborough, he made his amends, man. He all was forgiven and he earned it, you know, and he continued to after that. He made tons of plays, you know, keeping Siran Neal, one of the best special teamers, a guy who plays apparently going to play more on defense now. That's what he was told. You know, but looking at it now, we've seen they've rebuilt their interior defensive line, retooled it, if you will, and we're still it's 3/16 day. You know, we're still like, it's, I hate saying it because we're half a year. I hate saying it because I want football tomorrow, but we're a little under half a year away from a season. So there's still so much more to go, you know, still so much more, you know, there's still so many more moves that are going to happen from here and now. Buffalo's now, it is a location, Steve. And they said that very thing, you know, who wants to play with Josh? He said it. You know, the Bills are really running with this. Their social media team is having a day, man. They're having a blast. They're putting up a lot of stuff, showing lots of things, enjoying it. As they should. It's a big signing. It's a big move. So that's always a good thing to see, when you have, something to celebrate, something to, enjoy, as opposed to like all the off seasons we've sat here. The only question we would sit and ask ourselves, like, okay, if they sign Mario Williams, great. Mark Anderson, great. But still, is Fitz going to kill us? Is Fitz going to find magic and keep it, or is he going to disappear? And we found out it was a disappearing act. And Tyrod Taylor, despite Percy Harvin and Shady and Sammy Watkins and all those toys, it just, okay, Tyrod's not good enough. Tyrod's not good enough. Rex is not the guy. Rex is not he's not even a Sunday coach, let alone a Monday through Saturday coach where you have to be dialed in X's and O's. He's going to, beers in the hot tub, going to baseball games, World Series games, just dumb shit that we had to deal with, man. Big Baller Bean, BBB, Daryl Talley on Twitter, and I thought Bill Polian was a genius. Oh shit. Damn, that's something, man. That's something to behold. Those old school guys, they love it, and seeing them back, it feels good. This guy's a beat writer for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to read his thing. Whoever told Chris Mortensen the Browns wanted an adult at quarterback must know they really are done with Baker, because it's safe to assume that Mayfield and his people didn't appreciate hearing that on the four-letter network. Divorces are ugly, and this one may get messy. Wow. Yeah, that's some harsh words. I mean, that's some like, to say that's wow. Yeah, that's I've never heard that. That's as strong as, and maybe even uncalled for, to call somebody basically you're not an adult. Like, that's just tough. So how you guys feeling? We're 2 hours and change in. I'll roll a little while longer. I got to get up early, and I know probably a lot of you guys have to get up early. You got a lot lives to get back to. Diarrhea is happening at Cleveland. I feel bad for them, man. Okay, if there's one organization I can relate to, I guess Great Lakes team. They're right down the road from Buffalo. They had their team ripped from them. The Bills faced that. Could have been a reality. Almost was. And they were, and I've said this so many times, when I went there, they and I've been to some, Philly, they were a little rough with the Jet fans. And I remember weirdest, I have no like, my uncle all of a sudden took me to a Giants opener in 97. My uncle-in-law, he took me to the Giants opener in 97. It was against the Eagles. The quarterback matchup that day, Bobby Hoying. No, was it Ty Detmer versus, I think it was Ty Detmer versus Dave Brown. I'm a Bills fan, so it's just like, I went to the game. You know who the Bills played that day too? It was terrible. I think it was that they opened against Minnesota and just got fucking destroyed in Buffalo too. Todd Collins was the quarter, that was Todd Collins' first, starting the opener, and they got blown out. I want to say it was against the Saints or Minnesota. It was an NFC team, 100%. That I know. It was Minnesota, and I know it was Minnesota. I just had to double check. It was Minnesota. But I remember seeing it on the board because I was trying to pay attention. I was like trying to watch, and I saw the Bills. It was a big pass. I was like, oh fuck. I was really disappointed. Yeah, man, they have to. They have to. You know what it is? It's like it. We could talk about that a little bit, right? Yeah, he did, man. He did play beat up. He played beat up. He played injured, and for them to kind of go out and besmirch him like that, that's kind of fucked up. If you're playing, like, I'll ask any of you guys, if you're an NFL player and you're hurt, like you're compromised physically, and you got to protect yourself, play at a high level. You're a quarterback, so you you're a target. You're just basically a walking bullseye. And I know it was his non-throwing shoulder, but it was pretty bad. Like complete, rotator cuff tear, torn. What is that? There's another thing that you can fuck up in there. I know he had torn rotator cuff and a labrum tear, and like a bone like broke off of the socket. It was bad. He had that harness and everything, and you're playing, you're trying, you're managing it, you're trying, right? And there's injuries around you. One of your receivers, you cannot tell me fucking Beckham didn't sandbag it to get out of there, running half-ass routes, dropping passes, freelancing it, dogging it, and then he finally gets out of there and goes to a place he wants, and all of a sudden he can play again. That's a dude who sandbags it. Yeah, makes a big difference. His running backs are hurt. Chubb is one of my favorite running backs. Kareem Hunt's in and out, offensive line, and that kid needs a line. He's not mobile, not the most mobile. He's an okay athlete, but he's not the most mobile. Conklin's out. I know they had a few other injuries. I think Jedrick Wills missed a few games, but yeah. So I could understand it a little bit. I'm not there though. I don't know how he treats people in that building, or maybe he's a dick. Maybe he's petulant. Maybe he's not the easiest, because one constant, he seems to have problems with all his head coaches, except the guy at Oklahoma, the guy who booked for USC, Lincoln Riley. That's it. Yeah, J.C. Tretter got released, so they're in for like a little bit of a reset, like a refresher, if you will. Like you see, like example, like a lot of teams are doing it. Like, everybody loves, the whole Colts. I'm sorry, the Colts, the Chargers. Their quarterback, they love the coach is a media darling because of his aggressiveness and his quotes and shit like that in press conferences, but they missed the playoffs. I was rewatching that game the other day, actually, the Raiders, and it was actually just the fourth quarter. It was crazy. The fourth quarter alone, I think with overtime, took almost 2 hours. It was insane. But they had to retool, the Jackson and Mack and just they released Bulaga, they re-signed Mike Williams. They haven't paid Herbert yet, though. That's the key. They haven't paid Herbert yet. I'm not a big on Baker being the guy to lead him to a championship. Just seems shitty. Yeah, that's all. That's what I'm saying, Doug. It seemed like kind of like a twatty thing, kind of like maybe he's petulant. I don't know. Maybe he did this shit in college and stuff, whatever. But it also seems like it's like, where's he going to play? I mean, is he going to end up like, that's the musical chairs. I think Eric touched on it. Like Watson, that's the first big domino, right? If anything breaks, guys, put it in the room, please. Like you guys are on top of shit. My brain is scrambled eggs right now. I'm useless. I can believe that, Matt. I can believe he has maturity issues. You got your wife on Twitter talking shit. She's not going to help you. Like I was talking with my girl the other day, and I think we were having a conversation, and like it's hard. Like if you see somebody talking shit about your spouse or your loved one, and you're an NFL player, how is it going to be for you to not react or to react to that? You know what I mean? It must be hard. Like if somebody was talking shit about my girl, they're going to hear me. But if she's a pro athlete, me reacting to them talking about her is going to give her issues. So, and vice versa. So it's really a cutting. It's a razor's edge, man. Everyone loves Brandon Staley, but if he kicks the field goal, that's it. That's it. I don't think Watson is going to. No, I don't think he's going to Cleveland. I don't think he's going to Cleveland. I think he's going to one of the. I think he switches conferences, and I think he just goes to the NFC South, whether it's Atlanta, Carolina, or New Orleans. He's going to one of those three teams. Yeah, and he married the girl. He's obviously loves her. I mean, he's got a child with her, and he obviously loves her. They've been together since high school, and sometimes, you know what? It's just he's not worrying about that Deshaun Watson shit. You know, he's not in no girls' DMs. That kid is just like, you know what? I don't need none of that stress in my life. I got my one good girl. She's a little wild at games. She acts a little crazy. She gets excited. Whatever. I'm. That's it. You know. And if that's the case, God bless him. You know. God bless him. You know, I respect that. I respect a man that has that discipline and is not, you know, looking to go do this, do that, because that's weak too. Chris Brown for the Bills. It was understandably lost in the Von Miller, OJ Howard news. Ryan Bates was tendered. Buffalo's given the right of reverse refusal. Versatile offensive lineman started the last 6 games, including the playoffs. I say they retain him 100%. I'm just trying to read some of the comments here. You know, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman going to ESPN. They're so fucking annoying. I can't stand them. They're just I just can't. Aaron Wilson, Falcons rolled out the red carpet today during their meeting in Atlanta with Deshaun Watson, including the AFC South franchise owner Arthur Blank. Other keynote members of the team's leadership group, leak sources, and delivered an impressive presentation. See, I want to see what the compensation is for him, because I have a friend here, Jordan, met him working. He was working at the ShopRite. He's a 17-year-old kid now. The guy is 30. Huge Atlanta fan. And he texted me, asked me about Miller. And I told him I was big for it. And he just says, you know, they have too many needs. We're going to trade away our future for a player that might wind up getting suspended. I mean, that is true, because he's still, if he's found guilty, from what I understand, if he's found guilty of anything in these civil suits, he could still, they could become, you know, they could become serious issues again, you know. But that's crazy. But that's the first domino. That's my point of saying that. That's the first one. Wherever Deshaun goes, I'm dying to see the compensation. And maybe because of the suspension, the looming suspension, maybe because of the legal stuff, still, even though it's not as serious as it once was, but it's still serious. I mean, 22 women, that's serious. I'm sorry. And you're always afraid of the future. What if this guy has issues? What if he reoffends? What if he can't stop doing this? What if it's a sickness, you know? Then it's, who's the next guy? Is it Baker or is it Garoppolo? It's Baker, Garoppolo. I think Garoppolo ends up in either Indy or he ends up in Cleveland. That's my thinking. I don't think anything happens to any. Yeah, no, definitely not. Or how about Matt Ryan? Because if that's another byproduct, right? If Watson goes to Atlanta, Matt Ryan's gone. So Matt Ryan goes. But then how does that work around in the draft, right? Somebody's going to like Malik Willis, but he's a kid that has to sit, a la Josh Allen. Josh Allen, maybe he should have sat, right? But he didn't. He got thrown in there. Trey Lance definitely needed to sit. Has flash, but needed to sit. Even though he played well in spots, but he had a lot of. Justin Fields needed to sit. He did not need to play his rookie year. You know, you see the talent, you see the ability, but he needed to sit. Outside of Willis, who else is there that should be a first-round pick in the quarterback class? Corral? Ritter? I don't really see much else. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. See, that's the thing. If Watson ends up in Atlanta, I think Matt Ryan is on a one-way. I think he's on a one-way ticket to Indianapolis. I just see him on a one-way. It's a dome team with a strong running game, a good offensive line, a great running back. You know, has good receivers. One really good receiver. I feel like Michael Pittman is a really good receiver. I like him a lot, and a solid defense and a quarterback-friendly centric coach. So I could see that happening. I would love to know that too, Trevor. I mean, again, the tree is gonna shake. Yeah, there's Pickett, but you know, the 8-inch hands. I mean, is he? I don't want to say that, but he's got like almost 40 fumbles. 40 fumbles. That's a lot of. That's not interceptions. That's fumbles. That's a lot of. That's a lot of putting the ball on the ground. That's crazy. People posting that people should put they should put the Bills in prime time opener. Yeah, I would love see if I had my choice of the guys, it would be him. I think he would be perfect. I think he could even come in, run some plays. Definitely, Jason. I think we need a bit. We could use a different kind of back. Either way, we could use the McKissick kind of back, like they tried to add, or we could use a big physical, thumper. So that's fun. That's fun too. Yeah, they're in a tough spot, man, because they can't bring him back now. They can't. There's no way they can bring him back. There's New Orleans, there's Seattle, there's Carolina. But if Atlanta moves off of goes to Watson, then Ryan is out there. And so that's going to be and shit, if you put Matt Ryan out there, right? What if San Francisco all of a sudden decides, you know what? Lance isn't still ready. Lance isn't ready yet. And then, Kyle Shanahan wants Ryan back for one more run, because I think Ryan's a better passer than Garoppolo. I think he's proven that. They've both gotten to a Super Bowl, but I think Ryan has a league MVP. So, I mean that's a possibility. I can't rule out anything. Yeah, I think if he, I think that's where he would go. I think that's where he would go. My own personal thoughts, but we saw Trubisky. Trubisky's now the guy. He's temporary maybe. But in Pittsburgh, and they did that quick. They moved on Trubisky quick. They went and got him. They identified him and picked him up quick. Good for him. Good for him. He came to Buffalo, was a good soldier. No complaints. I mean, don't play. We don't need you to play. Come in, kneel the ball down, hand the ball off, throw a check down. That's it. We're good. Yeah. So this quarterback, it's crazy. It's like there's quarterback movement, but there's too many teams in this league. I've said this so many times. There's 4 teams too many in this league. There just really is, and they expanded too much, too fast. And you see, there's not enough good coaches. There's not enough good quarterbacks. There's not enough depth. There's teams that are just haves, and there's teams that are completely have-nots. So that sucks, But be that as it may, it's that's the Bills have found a recipe, and it seems to be working, and thank God for it. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if anybody's posted anything that's worth note here. Forgive me, guys. But it just seems like things have quieted up a little bit. But you never know. You never know. Like something could happen. Whether not even Bills related, but something that happens in the division. People are talking about Watson's decision could come tonight. Maybe he wants to sleep on it. Read some of your comments, guys. How stacked is the AFC compared to the NFC, man? I think all the young quarterbacks are in the AFC. That's obvious. I mean, the AFC quarterbacks are that's why I think Watson ends up shifting over to the other conference. I just think it always happens like that. It's very rare you see an in-conference quarterback move. It just, people said, tried to say like the Peyton Manning thing was similar to the Russell. No, Peyton Manning was a free agent. They released him. And the only reason they released him is because he was injured, and they were staring right down the barrel of Andrew Luck. So there was no way they were not going to not draft Andrew Luck. So that's the dynamic of the Russell Wilson acquisition in Denver and Peyton Manning. It's just they couldn't be more different. Totally not the same thing. The Diggs came. It did. Did it come late at night, Matt? Was it a late night trade? It might have been. Yeah, he's in bad shape, man. That guy, that guy would. Yeah, he's in bad shape, Doug. I know he's done a few too many things in his day. Let's just put it that way. You know what's funny? Like I know Frank Reich is very God fearing. I think he even went to like seminary school or some shit. Like he's really religious, like pastor. Like he literally went to school to like be a priest or something. Stop me if I'm wrong, but anyway, it's just like their organization, like sans the owner, is pretty like Ballard seems like a great GM. They had a very talented team. They gave the Bills a hell of a game in the playoffs that the Bills won close. And then once they got into Buffalo, I mean, with Jonathan Taylor just, fucking went train hammer on them and just had a day. And I think it's a little too greedy, Jason. I don't think they're going to trade him, especially to a team that they're competing against, because they feel like they can beat the Bills. That's why you see those out of conference trades. It's like your path to the playoffs. You're not going to strengthen a potential. You know what I mean? You're just not. There's an example. The Colts called Houston about Watson. They're like, we're not talking to you about Watson, and they hung up the phone. Like, why would they do that? That's in their division, in their conference. There's no way that's going to happen. Colts are paying dude. They had no idea that was going to happen, though, man. Luck. They thought they were drafting a guard for Luck. I mean, trust me, I'm happy, but you could say the same about the Browns. The Browns, you could say the same about Denver. You could say the same about the Jets. The Giants. There's several teams you could say that for, man. If somebody could have jumped over and drafted, they could have made a trade with Denver. It could have been Arizona. So it's tough. It's like you can't forecast these things. Nobody would have been. I mean, I'm sure if they knew that Luck was gonna just jet after 1 year, there's no way they're gonna take Quentin Nelson. Even though you could love the player, but a guard's gonna do you no good if you don't got somebody to block for him. He played 1 year with them, Parker, and that was it. Played they played the 18 season. Luck played. And then that off season going into that 19, and that was it. He just retired right before the year. That was just crazy. It was one of the craziest play retirements I've ever seen. Yeah, definitely say that. And imagine if the Jets had taken Allen. I mean, would they have ruined him? Who knows? Allen just seems like he's a psycho competitor, and I tend to think like talent and will and want to is going to overcome everything. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to see if anything is coming to fruition. Jakeem Grant signed with the Browns. I know the Dolphins traded him to the Bears last year. Just trying to see if there's anything of note. I mean, I think we've had enough. So, wow, this is going to be exciting. Imagine taking your running back with the second. Oh my God, Doug. That's why that guy found the retirement home quick. Jason, here's my thing. I love my Bills. Been a fan since '89. Die hard. I think we have a good running back on the burners. Christian Wade is not with the team anymore, Jason. He's 31 years old. He's never played a professional game. He's played a preseason game. the rugby player. I mean, he had the one long run against Detroit. I know it was great. Was it Detroit or Carolina? It was one of the two. But I mean, trust me, they see the guy every day. If they felt like he could do something, he would be there, you know? He hurt his shoulder. I think people just have to let that thing go, you know? There was a wide receiver that people felt like was going to pop off a while ago. I think was it Duke Williams? He had the one, Tennessee touchdown, and he had the decent game against the Jets that last game of the year. But it's just, if those guys. Daniel writes, I'm excited for Vaughn, but part of me remembers big name signings like Terrell Owens. Well, the organization was just completely different, man. That's all good, Jason. No, it's all good. We all have our own opinion here, man. I'm not here to flame you for yours. I'm just stating my opinion. But he's not with the team anymore. He's those pathway players. I think they only get a certain amount of time to officially stay with the team, and then once if they can be on the practice squad for like 3 years or so, and then after that they kind of like have to find another way. But like the fullback for the Patriots was one of those players, but he played in their games and started for them and shit, and he just signed with the Raiders, so they're completely different. Fa Obata was a pathway player, so there's because they have to rotate those players because there's a new batch coming in. You feel me? If they don't catch on right away, because they're older players, they're older than 25, not quite 30, didn't grow up playing football from other countries. So that's kind of like how that program works. Bro, what the hell, dude? Tony Khan, man. What? I mean, just go watch AEW wrestling and see who Tony Khan is, or just look him up, and that's the Jaguars. That's who they are. That's who runs them. That's Daddy gives Tony what he wants, and Tony just does what he wants. He plays with toys, big boy toys. Starts wrestling, has soccer, Fulham, the Jaguars. These are toys. These are billionaires' toys. Football teams and soccer teams and wrestling promotions and shit like that. MMA promotions. They're billionaire toys. They can't. There's only so much cocaine you can do. There's only so many times. There's only so many Manhattans you can drink on the yacht. That gets old after a while. Yeah. Different org for sure. Different culture and different quarterback, man. I just think we're just all this is scarred, man. You just can't let those scars just. You just always can't think it's going to turn to shit, We'll be hopeful today, how about that? Anything could happen. We know that. Anything could happen. So I'm not going to sit here and promise it's going to be, roses and all that. But we'll see. We'll see. Another coke. Yeah, man. It's like James Dolan, dude. It's like that guy's had to do nothing. Like his father, Jim, was like, yeah, I'm a almost a trillionaire. I own MSG. I own MSG. I own MSG Network. I own the MSG networks. That kid had to do nothing until he was like 55, right? Just go play his little saxophone and chill around Long Island and, live the life of Riley. How the hell did Zay Jones get a cut? He had some clutch catches for the Raiders late in the year. I'll give him that. I'll give him respect for, resurrecting himself and whatnot. But you know how it is, dude. It's, I don't know. I don't know. Like I would just rather draft a receiver. Like I wouldn't sign him for that. I mean, I think I can get that production from a lot of guys. Does anyone think that we should try to bring? Nah. I think we need to go younger there, Jason. We need young. We need youth. We need some fresh legs. We have Davis is going to his third year. He's a veteran now. You know what I mean? Gabe Davis is a veteran. How also McKenzie, fifth year. He's a veteran. You know what I mean? Kumaro is a veteran. Diggs a veteran. We need a young dude. We need some young, hungry dudes out there. That's insane. Like, I don't know how that works, Parker, but I'll take it. Honestly, after the whole thing with Henry Ruggs fiasco, Zay Jones was low key. Yeah, he was. He definitely was. Go watch the Chargers game I mentioned earlier. He caught some clutch catches in that game. I think he had a drop or two, but he definitely had some clutch catches. Wow, somebody just posted a 6'8" picture of Dan McGuire in a Seahawks uniform. The guy was 6'8". Crazy. I'm trying to read anything. We all know that Brandon Beane, GM, is unafraid to take a big swing in signing Von Miller on Wednesday. Beane made the biggest free agent acquisition in franchise history, one he hopes will lead the team to a Super Bowl. Yeah, it was a pretty big one. It was in name, like bigger than Bryce Paup. Yes, at the time, yes. Paup didn't have the production Vaughn had, Super Bowls. Nobody knew what Ted Washington was going to be, or become for the Bills. I mean, the same thing with Hyde and Poyer. People viewed them as solid additions, guys that could come in and help. Definitely what they have, what they've become is a completely different animal. I mean, Poyer and Hyde, to me, right now are still the best free agent signings. They've been there for 5 years. They've been mainstays, class acts, guys that have helped change everything, and really, really good players. Really good players. So, yeah, I still say that Hyde and Poyer are the best free agent signings. But in name right now, it's definitely Von Miller. Matt, you're not wrong. Zay Jones rebuilt himself with the Raiders. But no, he's not worth that money. That's why I say you draft a young guy. You draft a guy in the 4th, 5th round. It's all depends on who's throwing him the football anyway, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. He's down there. He's in that organization. Should they beat the Bills last year, though? But the Bills played their worst game. So, I mean, I have no I feel like and they beat the Colts, and we saw what the Colts did to the Bills. It's a weird league. Week to week is such a cliche, but it's so true. So true. I've been checking for any news, but it seems, it really has, Doug. I stopped actually because I was taking my attention away, and there's really, if things are going on right now, it's people are just kind of sitting on decisions, if you will. Yeah, Trevor, I'm more than intrigued, actually. I'm more than intrigued because once they get outside, like for me, and this is what good offenses do. I don't care if it's 1982, 92, 2002, 2022, right? Once a good offense gets on the fringe, they don't get to the red zone, because once they're 35 and in, they start taking shots at your end zone. They start shooting shots at your end zone. And a guy like him, get chunk plays, go up and get some balls that are not even 50-50 balls. They're more like 75-25. Draw penalties, whether it's a hold for a 5-yard illegal contact, defensive holding, whatever, or just make a play on the run down a seam. Like, that guy helps. Like that size, that guy is wow. And I think what it does for Knox, it frees up Knox to do just as much more. It's like, okay, we have both these guys now to deal with. We have to deal with both of them. We don't have to deal with one of them. We have to deal with both of them. And I remember in his rookie year, and I know it's been a while, these time passes. This is OJ Howard's going to be his 6th year. His rookie year, he didn't have a lot of catch production, 26 catches, 16.6 yards a catch, 6 touchdowns. His second year, 34 catches, 16.6, 5 touchdowns. Then I believe Arians comes in, his role changes, more of a blocker, different, didn't get as many targets, 34 catches, 13 yards. So he loses 3 yards, only scores 1 touchdown. Next year, he gets hurt. They bring in Gronk, Brady, So that dynamic changes. Just one start, 11 catches, couple of touchdowns, 140, nothing. Last year, same thing, 14 catches, the production down, everything. So change the scenery, needed. Change the system, needed. But the ability that he has is definitely top shelf. Yeah, Vaughn, like that sack I posted in the room, Pokemon was that's a sack that not many Bills players have I seen get. Bending, beating a tackle clean, ducking under and ripping, with the overhand, just sack, fumble, strip, recovery too. It's just so instinctual to do on a you got a couple of seconds and you're in full speed and 300-pound guys pushing on you, So that's that's crazy. And we haven't had a player like that. Hopefully some of our young guys can see that. Maybe they don't have that ability, but they'll, having a guy like that'll juice them up, free them up to do things, build their confidence. Read some of the comments, guys. Von Miller. So yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I posted that actually. I tweeted that, and I was thinking about the 2011 draft. I was thinking about that Super Bowl, and I posted the GIF of the strip sack that was near the goal line. I mean, it was right there. I believe they got it at the 1. Von Miller won a Super Bowl and was this MVP at the expense of both Bills GM Brandon Beane and head coach Sean McDermott. It's safe to say that game left a lasting impression. Because the guy gets into the big game and I remember how him and DeMarcus Ware, how impactful they were the week before, like the 2 weeks prior against Brady and the Patriots. That was equally as impressive. That was, because I'm rooting for the Broncos that game. I don't want to see the Patriots win another one. And even in that game, he had 2.5 sacks. He had, he actually had an I remember that interception. Remember, it was a screen pass, and he read it, jumped up and caught it. And fucking, I think Denver scored off of that. It was a close game. They won 20-18. It was nip and tuck. I mean, they beat the Pittsburgh. It was only 23-16. It was a close game too. But his tackles for loss, his quarterback hits. I mean, he's a guy they're going to keep fresh, and they're going to want him in prime time to make those big plays. Parker, Bill should go wide receiver. I mean, again, I said it earlier, Parker. If they go wide receiver first round, offensive line second, corner third, I'll get it and I'll be good. If they go corner, if they go wide receiver, offensive line, I'm good. If they go O-line, if any combination of those three, I'm good. And it's whatever they feel, whatever they feel is right, what they need, who's the best at the time. I'm gonna stand down and say, all right, you guys have earned my trust. You've proven a lot of people wrong, including myself. Have a day, keep going, keep doing your thing, because I can't dismiss anything that they've done because it's been very, very successful, very successful. They've been very, very close, and I think that was the most gutting thing. It was painful to watch the Super Bowl. It was very painful because I'm not the only one who felt like this, but I just watching that game, the only thing I could think about was, and it sounds like sour grapes, it sounds bitter. I was like, the Bills could beat these teams. The Bills could be beating these teams, no problem right now. The Bills could be beating this Rams team, no problem right now. Without Trey White, they could beat this team. The Bills could be beating this Bengals, could have beaten this Bengals team 2 weeks prior in Buffalo. They could beat this team. Yeah, I saw that. Justin Reed's a pretty good player. He's a very underrated player. He's a bigger player than Matthew, but less drama, younger. So no, I saw that, and he's a solid player. But I hope that they lost one of their corners too. Excuse me. They lost one of their corners too, so I'm hoping that they again, the Bills, they can't worry about what they do. They have to do what they do. They have to build on what they have and whatever their needs are. I mean, they got over that hump. They did beat KC in KC. They had KC on the ropes. The game was won. And exactly, Doug. It's like it was painful to watch. I was just like, I really didn't even enjoy it. I watched it as an observer, but I didn't enjoy it. I love football. I'm passionate about football, but it sucked to watch because I'm like, the Bills can beat these teams. The Bills can beat these teams, and there's no doubt about it in my mind. So I'm not worried about anything the Bengals are putting together or not putting together. I'm not worried about, what's ever going on in the AFC West, or, I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm worried about, what they're doing, and what they're doing is like they're being like, hey, we're not resting on our laurels. We're not running it back, because that was kind of the theme of last year. We're going to run it back. Bring back Levi, bring back Feliciano, bring back Darrell Williams, re-sign Milano. They got McKenzie on a small deal, thought about going to Detroit, but he came back to Buffalo. Remember, he said he played for Candy. I know they did a few restructures in there. They added again to the defensive line in the draft. But it was good. Not quite as crisp on offense throughout the entire way, but still, it was still just a hair short. So they know that they couldn't run it back again. They had to refreshen the group. Yeah, you could sign me up for the power back. That's something like I'm a little old school with that, man. Like, I like the death by 1,000 cuts running back, mismatch, play in space, chain mover. But I like that hammer too, man. That guy is just hell and wears down a defense. And then you got to worry about Josh running downhill on you. Not that Josh is going to lower his shoulder. He will. He'll jump over you too. He'll throw over you, around you, through you. And it's just a lot to defend. There's a lot of things to try to have answers for. And then not many teams are going to be able to have answers for what the Bills can throw at them offensively. Think about that. Think about what I just said, the world we live in now. There's not going to be a lot of teams, if any, that could answer all the things the Bills can throw at them offensively. One thing I've learned, the cap is just very flexible. Yeah, it is, man. It is flexible. And you can do lots of different things with it. You can maneuver it. And, you can do whatever you like. But, you're going to pay a price. But you got to win, you got to win. And I hopefully they'll be able to pull it off, for us, for themselves, that's the thing I want the most, arguably. I'm just trying to read some of the comments and see if there's anything. Yeah, Browns had to release Austin Hooper. They had to make a lot of, they made a lot of cost-cutting moves. Maybe it's for Deshaun Watson. Maybe it's for Garoppolo or another quarterback that they're going to decide to put on their team. So it's only going to go up from now. I mean, there's only one more rung to go, man. There's one more. What's that? One more river to cross, Trevor. This is like Marv Levy famously said, during, after the 51-3 AFC Championship game in '90 of the Raiders, is one more river to cross. That's it, and it's still true. 33 years later, one more river to cross, one more river, and that's it. And I feel like we're that close. I think we all feel like we're that close. Without a game having been, played yet, we still have a long way to go, but. So I don't even want to say it. It's like 6 months. Jesus Christ. That's terrible. I hate that. But you guys, thank you so much. It's 3 hours. I didn't anticipate it would be this long. Just a lot of word salad for me. Not much clear, concise thought. Just shooting the shit. I'm nobody. Again, like I said, I'm not here to monetize. I never intend on doing that shit. Not here to poach. Not here to try to brand myself or make myself something out that I'm not. It's just a small little grassroots Bills channel that I started for fun and just the love of the thing that we all love, that team, and something we're all passionate about. So, and there's no place I'd rather share it. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, man. Disappointment doesn't discourage. No, man, just pisses us off. That's right, man. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it, Doug? It's a weird they do that, then they do this. So I don't know what they're trying to draw. What's up, Johnny Z? John, I think they're going to get it back. And the way Singletary ran in the second half of the year, even the first parts of the year, Johnny, like, was it second offensive play or first offensive play? In Miami, he rips it. Remember in the second half against Pittsburgh opener, Bills couldn't do anything. They started running Singletary, started gashing them. I think at one point they came away with a field goal at one of those drives, but I feel like if they just would have fed him more consistently, and I know he had the fumble thing and then they went back, but I think they're going to address it. I think they'll address it. Nah, it's all good, man. You come in, you spend a minute. It's the same as if you spent the whole time, man. That's your time. I appreciate any time anybody gives my ass. Like I said, it's just a small little channel. No, I'm not trying to build myself a brand. I'm not trying to be one of these cover 2 dudes or whatever, fanatic dudes or anybody like that. That's their thing. That's them. Have it, enjoy it. But I keep it like this. But I'm hoping that we're gonna see more consistency. That's all I want from this, is just the team to be more consistent. If the Bills are more consistent, what we saw last year, they win 3 to 4 more games. No problem. They win that Tennessee game. They win the Jaguars game. Maybe they don't win the Colts game, right? They don't win the Colts game. More consistency, wins in Tampa Bay. There's 3 games right there. More consistency, maybe they win that first New England game. That big run doesn't happen to Harris. That lane isn't there. You're at home. More consistency, you're in the Super Bowl. That's it. That's all it comes down to, guys. All right, guys. I'm going to peace out. Love you all. Thank you all so much. Happy stream. Happy day. Big signing, Von Miller. On the surface, 6 years, 120 million, but in reality, 3 years, 50-some million. Big front-loaded deal. But for a guy that's going to finish on defense, create havoc, be a bit of a hellraiser, get quarterbacks off the spot, flush them, get sacks, create sacks, positive plays for the defense. The more our offense is on the field, the better we are. I mean, the better anybody is, but particularly a team like ours that, just is hell-bent on scoring touchdowns, not punting, getting the ball in the end zone by come hell or high water. Peace, man. See y'all. Thank you. Always love y'all. Go Bills. And once this free agency wraps up, if something big happens, I'll pop on, but I'll kind of wait a week or so and then kind of do a review. Come back and do a little review, do a little bit of draft. Didn't really touch on the draft too much, but I'm sure that shit's going to start getting hot and heavy soon. All right. Actually, I think the night of the draft, I'm going to live stream it. I'll be on for the first round and we're just going to go. We'll react to all the picks. We'll just have fun fucking with it. All right. Love you all. Go Bills. Have a good week, guys. Be safe. How was I, Raymond?